Phoenix Nights. Chapter 681. Are you willing to travel with us to the continent zone with Yufei? Duan Wuqing looked at Zhao Feng with a serious expression. At this moment in time, a weird silence filled the air. Duan Wuqing and the Purple Saint Partial Spirit were both concerned as they waited for Zhao Feng's reply. Zhao Yufei's pretty face blushed slightly, and there was a trace of embarrassment in her clear eyes. She lowered her head and bit her lips, feeling perturbed. At this moment in time, the two of them, as well as the Purple Saint Partial Spirit, were waiting for Zhao Feng's reply. Struggle appeared on Zhao Feng's face as he took a deep breath. Zhao Feng, if you come with me to the continent zone, the threat of the Emperor of Death will be reduced to the lowest, Duan Wuqing said. Everyone here knew about the threat of the pursuit of death. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit sent a voice transmission. Zhao Feng, I know that you're still thinking about your fiancée, but her chances of survival are almost zero. You and Yufei are childhood sweethearts. Your friendship is obvious, and your bloodline abilities complement each other. You are a perfect match, an invincible combination. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit tried to persuade Zhao Feng. This didn't only affect her disciples' happiness, it could also affect the Duanmu family's revival plan. Hu Zhao Feng let out a long breath and shook his head. I can only go to the continent zone after I confirm Qinqin's life. Only then will I be able to follow my heart and not leave any regrets. Hearing this, Zhao Yufei's delicate body trembled. Her clear eyes were misty and the corners of her eyes were slightly red. A crystal clear tear instantly evaporated. Duan Wuqing sighed. He and the Purple Saint Partial Spirit didn't try to persuade him anymore. Zhao Feng's choice was to follow his heart without any regrets. At the same time, this also affected one's heart. If Zhao Feng went against his heart, it would be detrimental to his future cultivation. Indeed, Zhao Feng also knew that following Duan Wuqing would reduce the danger of the pursuit of death. He had a good impression of her since he was young, and it wasn't fake. However, Zhao Feng had never forgotten her promise. That beautiful face that seemed to be full of resentment, every frown and every smile, seemed to be right in front of his eyes. That elegant and tranquil figure dressed in snow-white gauze was like a fairy in a painting. If she were still alive, would she still hold on to the promise from back then? Even so, in Zhao Feng's opinion, Lu Qinxin's chances of survival were close to zero. Whoosh! Zhao Feng and the others returned to the Great Emperor's residence. Zhao Feng, in a few months, we'll use the Grand Teleportation Formation to leave. When the time comes, you will also be able to use this formation when you head to the Floating Dream Spirit region. Great Emperor Duanmu reminded. Zhao Feng bowed and left the mansion. Brother Feng, since you've chosen her, Yufei won't be the third party. She'll take the initiative to back out. Zhao Yufei's face was slightly pale with a hint of stubbornness. Yufei! Zhao Feng exclaimed. From Zhao Yufei's tone, it seemed like she wanted to draw a line with him. Whoosh! Zhao Yufei disappeared from where she stood. Zhao Feng's left eye, however, could see the outline of a little world. He sighed and turned around to leave. Purple Saint Ruin's little world. Yufei, don't be too angry. He'll come back to you sooner or later, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit said. The tears on Zhao Yufei's face hadn't dried yet. She bit her lips and her eyelashes trembled. What if she's still alive? Zhao Yufei felt like a knife was stabbing into her heart. Did Zhao Feng's choice mean that his fiancée was the most important in his heart? What worried her the most was that if Lu Qinxin was still alive, she would definitely die. Don't worry, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit comforted. It's not very likely that Lu Qinxin is still alive. Zhao Feng is just following his heart, or else he won't be able to pass this test. You don't understand men, so don't make things difficult for him. I hope so. Zhao Yufei's tears turned into a smile, and she was like a flower after the rain. However, she was still praying in her heart, thank the heavens, Lu Qinxin won't appear. As long as Lu Qinxin wasn't alive, then no one would be able to threaten her position in Zhao Feng's heart. Main spiritual peak, Zhao Feng returned to his residence, and his emotions started to calm down. Ever since he comprehended the mermaid tears, his mental state had become as clear as crystal. There's only a few more months until I leave the true Martial's sacred land. I need to use this time to increase my strength and wear down the intent of the Eye of Death. Zhao Feng knew what to do. The pursuit of death was getting closer and closer. At this moment, normal kings couldn't threaten him. The Emperor of Death would definitely come personally. Immediately, Zhao Feng's intent split into three. One of them was used to wear down the intent of the Eye of Death. As for the other two, one was used to comprehend the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning, as well as the Dragon Flame Wine and Lightning Cloud Wine. The third, it was used to comprehend the Wings of Wind and Lightning. Back in the demigod Forgotten Garden, Zhao Feng had successfully comprehended the Lightning Wings flying technique and opened the door to the Tao of Lightning. The Wind Lightning Emperor's greatest asset in the past was his speed, a speed that allowed him to look down on the world. The Wings of Wind and Lightning were the most important. Zhao Feng understood. Back then, the Wind Lightning Emperor was known as the fastest emperor. He had even managed to escape from the Purple Knight Sacred Lord several times. If I can comprehend the essence of the Wind Lightning Emperor's speed, the Emperor of Death won't be able to do anything to me even if he comes looking for me. Zhao Feng was looking forward to it. Speed was the only unbeatable technique in the world. This logic was applicable even to monarchs and emperors. The Wind Lightning Emperor's inheritance pursued extreme speed and offense. That was why Zhao Feng would split off a portion of his intent to comprehend the Wings of Wind and Lightning. These three intents were in three different directions. Wearing down the intent of death was to resolve danger. Comprehending the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning was to increase his strength. Comprehending the Wings of Wind and Lightning was to escape. Resolve danger, increase strength, escape. Zhao Feng's thoughts were calm and clear. This was a three-pronged approach. Because he cultivated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, his mastery of the Tao of the soul was extraordinary. This was why Zhao Feng was able to focus on three things at the same time. Time slowly passed by. 1 month later, the intent of the Eye of Death in Zhao Feng's soul was slowly weakening. Although it wasn't a lot, it was still effective. His comprehension of the Wings of Wind and Lightning increased. After all, Zhao Feng had drunk the illusion god wine, comprehended king intent, and formed I intent. The battle skills and secret techniques of the Wings of Wind and Lightning opened the door to Zhao Feng. His lightning wings flying technique was, without a doubt, more familiar. Zhao Feng could instantly condense the Wings of Wind and Lightning and teleport away at the same time. Apart from that, Zhao Feng had also comprehended some of the secret techniques of the Wings of Wind and Lightning, such as the Lightning Wings Wind Flash and the Wind Lightning Wings Slash. Lightning Wings Wind Flash. Through the Wings of Wind and Lightning, one can greatly increase one's flying speed. Normally speaking, the Lightning Wings Wind Flash could increase one's flying speed by several to 10 times. After reaching the king level, one's flying speed was already terrifying. Increasing one's speed by just a little bit was already extremely rare. The Lightning Wings Wind Flash could increase one's speed by several times, up to 10 times. In the past, the Wind Lightning Emperor had cultivated the Lightning Wings Wind Flash to the extreme and could increase one's speed by 16 times. At that time, even some sacred lords might not be able to catch up to the Wind Lightning Emperor. Of course, the Lightning Wings Wind Flash used up a lot of energy, so it could only be used for a short period of time. As for the Wind and Lightning Wings Slash, through high-speed movement, one could directly use the high-speed vibration of the lightning wings to slash at the enemy, using extreme speed to attack the enemy, bringing a fatal attack to the enemy. 10,000 years ago, many enemies had died to the Wind Lightning Wings Slash, and some of them were even at the Void God realm. When a scarlet-colored layer of wind lightning appeared in Zhao Feng's palms and gave off a scorching aura of destruction. In reality, in the Wind Lightning inheritance, the power of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning had reached the extreme. The Golden Wind Lightning and Dark Golden Wind Lightning had merged some of the intent of the Wind Lightning Emperor, which made the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning more stable and used less energy. The power of the scarlet destruction wind lightning was too violent. Lightning and fire were both the strongest elements in heaven and earth, and there was also the intent of wind. The scarlet destruction wind lightning is extremely powerful and hard to control. It's very easy to accidentally injure others when it's cultivated, Zhao Feng murmured. When the Wind Lightning Emperor cultivated the scarlet destruction wind lightning, he had put himself in a bad situation several times, and his life had even been in danger. However, Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye was able to control the undulations of the scarlet destruction wind lightning. He would be able to detect any element that clashed with one another. In the last month, he had drunk the dragonfire wine and the lightning cloud wine. These two wines had the same name as the illusion god wine, and they were aimed at the elements of fire and lightning. However, the power of these two wines wasn't just normal. Although Zhao Feng's state of existence had reached the level of a void god king and his defense was extremely strong, his body was still destroyed by the wine. This was especially true. The dragonfire wine contained the aura of the ancient flaming dragon. When he drank the dragonfire wine, Zhao Feng's body felt as if it was on fire, and he was almost reborn. Luckily, Zhao Feng had the ice water bloodline, so he was able to survive. The effects of these two wines were extremely shocking, and they increased the scarlet destruction wind lightning true yuan within Zhao Feng's body. The dragonfire wine, the lightning cloud wine, and the demigod's blood all shone within Zhao Feng's body. Another half a month passed. Zhao Feng had just finished absorbing these two powers and was able to use them to further comprehend the scarlet destruction wind lightning. Zhao Feng's cultivation had broken through to the middle stages of the Great Origin Core Realm, and it was still increasing. I've comprehended over 50% of the scarlet destruction wind lightning. These two wines are indeed worthy of being on the same level as the illusion god wine. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. On top of that, he only drank a few mouthfuls of the dragonfire wine and lightning cloud wine. He believed that if he drank more and focused on comprehending them, his scarlet destruction wind lightning would improve even more. On this day, Zhao Feng used the aura of the ancient dream realm to purify the scarlet destruction wind lightning's origin. Under the influence of the aura of the ancient dream realm, the scarlet destruction wind lightning became more stable. The problem of conflicting elements was easily solved. One had to know that the Wind Lightning Emperor back then had a headache because of this. Zhao Feng nodded his head. The conflicting elements of the scarlet destruction wind lightning were solved by him. He could finally relax and try to merge another killing weapon. Shwa! A head as black as ink appeared in front of Zhao Feng. Instantly, a taboo aura that could intimidate all gods and ghosts was faintly emanating from the head. Within the ancient metal ring, the hearts of the child demigod and the little thieving cat jumped. God Tribulation Head! Excitement and expectation flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. The power of the God Tribulation lightning countered all cultivators in heaven and earth. Chapter 682. When the head was taken out, the child demigod and the little thieving cat started to chatter. This Zhao Feng's wind lightning inheritance is already very strong. If he merges the God Tribulation lightning into it, its power will probably increase by another level. The child demigod was slightly worried. His strength had recovered very quickly, and his cultivation was close to the middle stages of the Great Origin Core Realm. However, Zhao Feng's increase in strength made him even more wary. The further one cultivated, the harder it was to increase one's strength. The child demigod's strength would definitely increase by leaps and bounds before he reached the Void God realm. However, once he recovered to the Void God realm, it would slowly decrease. No matter how strong the potential of a drop of demigod blood essence was, there was a limit. At the same time, some kings that specialized in the Tao of lightning within the true martial sacred land sensed something. This was especially true for the 10,000 Lightning clan. When in the 10,000 Lightning sect, a crimson-black lightning sword that pierced through the sky trembled and struggled. The thick chains that bound it clanked as an earthy green light flowed around it. This crimson-black lightning sword was sealed by the array formations of the tombstones around it. However, at this moment, The scarlet-black lightning sword was extremely restless, as if it was excited but also slightly scared. Shwa! Shwa! Two figures appeared next to the scarlet-black lightning sword. Two emperors could be faintly seen in the light. One was a black-faced elder, and the other was a female. The aura of the god Tribulation Lightning has appeared again, and it's even stronger than the last 2 times. Only the god Tribulation Lightning can make the mountain-suppressing lightning sword so uneasy. In an extremely long time ago, this lightning sword also experienced the god Tribulation Lightning. Later on, a prodigy of the continent region absorbed and comprehended the power of the divine tribulation thunder within. In the end, he cultivated the supreme divine thunder, looked down on the heavens and earth, and became a god. The two emperors conversed. Their gazes turned toward the main spiritual peak of the mystic true sacred clan. The god Tribulation Lightning was extremely tempting for the 10,000 Lightning clan, which specialized in the Tao of Lightning. After all, in the history of the Tao of Lightning, there was a legendary prodigy that used the god Tribulation Lightning to reach the peak of the world. If my guesses are correct, this wisp of god Tribulation Lightning came from the head of the god Tribulation corpse. It's stronger than the other parts, the woman said in a deep voice. Her entire body was surrounded by countless tiny colorful lightning bolts. Each of them contained a terrifying power that was enough to destroy a small town. The Thousand Darkness Sacred Clan and the Mystic True Sacred Clan both obtain parts of the God Tribulation corpses, but they won't give any to the 10,000 Lightning Clan. The black-faced old man sighed bitterly. In the true martial sacred land, the 10,000 Thunder sect was the sect closest to becoming a 3-star sect. There were a few martial monarchs in the sect, and they were all very strong. Haha, that might not be the case. It was said that Emperor Duanwu was about to leave the sect and return to the continent zone. We might have a way. The woman smiled faintly. Oh? Is there any other way? The dark-faced old man's eyes instantly lit up. Even though the power of thunder contained in this head wasn't as great as the mountain-suppressing thunder sword, if it fell into the hands of the right thunder cultivator, it could still show off its power. At least, it could greatly increase the power of the Wanlei sect. Main Spirit Peak, Mystic True Sacred Clan. Zhao Feng placed his hand on the head of the god's tribulation and held his breath, feeling the ancient aura of the thunder tribulation. Boom! His body felt like it was being bombarded by 10,000 lightning bolts, and the everlasting aura of the origin of the Tao of Lightning caused his mind to tremble. Just a wisp of this aura is already so terrifying. Zhao Feng was shocked. One had to know. This god's tribulation corpse came from a very long time ago. On the head, every trace of the tribulation lightning was clearly visible and couldn't be erased. The injuries caused by the tribulation lightning were basically permanent. It's too strong. The damage is permanent. Zhao Feng immediately understood some of the characteristics of the god's tribulation lightning. There were many bloodlines in this world that had extremely strong bodies and incredible recovery abilities. However, they still hadn't passed the god's tribulation. In the past tens of thousands of years, no one in the Tsung Ocean had ever become a god. The power of the god's tribulation was too terrifying. The injuries it caused were basically permanent. If I can merge the power of this god's tribulation into the wind lightning inheritance, the power of my Tao of Lightning will increase by at least 10 times. Zhao Feng's heart shook. No wonder. The child demigod in the ancient metal ring was extremely worried. Although the wind lightning inheritance was a peak inheritance, it was still lacking compared to the purple saint inheritance and some other inheritances. In fact, Zhao Feng's wind lightning inheritance was countered by Lei Zhen's lightning spiritual body. However, as long as he merged the power of the god's tribulation lightning, everything would be different. Within the room, Zhao Feng closed his eyes and started to comprehend the power of the god's tribulation lightning within the head. During this process, the lightning within his body started to hum and tremble. Comprehending and absorbing the power of the god tribulation lightning would be a slow process. The power of the god tribulation lightning was extremely high, and it involved the laws of heaven and earth. It surpassed the wind lightning inheritance that Zhao Feng had comprehended. Zhao Feng didn't know where to start. 2 days ago, Zhao Feng didn't gain anything, and he had to endure the pressure from the head. Master, if you want to comprehend the power of the God Tribulation Lightning, you'll need to have a special lightning spiritual body or an emperor-level comprehension of heaven and earth. The child demigod reminded. What he meant was that Zhao Feng didn't meet any of his requirements. I have my own plans. Zhao Feng harumphed coldly. After all, this body was the body of a demigod when it was alive, so the child demigod had a connection with it. Right at this moment, chaos broke out on the main spiritual peak. A few surges of martial monarch force came crashing down from all directions. Brad Zhao Feng, hurry up and come out. A domineering voice penetrated through the air and arrived at Qin Nan's location. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically as he put away the head and stood up. Only to see 3 emperors floated in the air nearby, radiating a terrifying aura of lightning. The wind lightning true yuan within Zhao Feng's body started to tremble uneasily. The level of these 3 lightning daos was too high, and they were probably comparable to the wind lightning emperor of the past. Dark lightning emperor. The divine senses of some kings and emperors in the mystic true sacred clan were stunned. The newcomers were 3 emperors of the Tao of Lightning. On the left and right were a female and a black-faced elder. The person at the center was a tall man in black armor. His surroundings were covered in a layer of distorted dark lightning, and when looked at from afar, he seemed like a dark emperor. This dark lightning emperor's aura is so strong. He's not any weaker than Master. Zhao Feng was secretly surprised. On the main spiritual peak, the sovereign martial emperors with spiritual sense were somewhat fearful. The Dark Lightning Emperor is known as the strongest person in the Tao of Lightning, and his battle power is unparalleled among emperors. It's because of him that the 10,000 Lightning sect is only below the 2 3-star sects and can look down on the other 2-star sections. At least several dozen divine senses lingered around. Zhao Feng didn't act rashly. An emperor wasn't someone he could deal with. Dark Thunder Emperor, what can I do for you to come to our sect personally? A familiar male voice sounded in the air. Shua! Emperor Duanmu, whose hair was as white as snow, floated in the air and faced the 3 emperors of the 10,000 Lightning sect. Just a moment later, 2 emperors from the mystic true sacred clan also appeared, Emperor Gu Luo and Emperor Mi Kong. Just like that. The auras of the 3 martial emperors, including Duanmu Qing, did not pale in comparison. As for the other sovereign martial emperors in the sect, some were in closed-door cultivation, and some were watching with their spiritual senses, not showing themselves. Tell that Zhao Feng to come out. The Dark Lightning Emperor stood proudly in the air. Only 1 or 2 emperors in the entire mystic true sacred clan could be compared to him. Shua! 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 At the same time, dozens of divine senses swept over from the 1,000 Darkness Sacred clan on the other side. They were all kings and emperors. Emperor Duanmu's expression became solemn. He started to realize why the 10,000 Lightning sect dared to come to the mystic true sacred clan. It turned out that they had the support of the 1,000 Darkness Sacred clan. Furthermore, Emperor Duanmu was an emperor that was about to leave the mystic true sacred clan. This was definitely a trap. Dark Lightning Emperor, if you don't tell us the reason, we won't let you see Zhao Feng. Emperor Gu Luo smiled faintly. The atmosphere became more and more tense. Fine. This emperor will explain the reason and let you hear it. The Black Lightning Emperor laughed heartily. The main spiritual peak was silent. In the past, before the Wind Lightning Emperor became an emperor, he joined the mystic true sacred clan as a guest. During this period, he had stolen many Thunder Dao secret manuals while cultivating in the Myriad Thunder sect. That was how he became famous in the future. After that, the mystic true sacred clan sent out experts to kill him, but his speed was simply too fast. He was the fastest emperor. The Black Lightning Emperor paused for a moment. His gaze scanned across the crowd. We've heard about this before. Emperor Mi Kong started to think. Some of the ancient emperors nodded their heads. What the Black Lightning Emperor said wasn't false. Indeed, the Wind Thunder Emperor had a terrible character. Back then, he used his unparalleled speed to steal precious materials and treasures from various sects and mighty figures. I heard that he offended the Purple Knight's sacred lord and was killed after trying to escape several times. Some of the martial monarchs were discussing among themselves. At this moment, the divine senses of the upper echelon of the true martial sacred land and some ancient emperors were gathered here. Everyone can bear witness to what happened back then. That's good. The Black Lightning Emperor nodded. But what does this have to do with Zhao Feng? The divine sense of one of the emperors snickered. Of course it does! Without any hesitation, the Black Lightning Martial Emperor snapped. This junior is the successor of that thief from back then. According to the rules of the mystic true sacred clan, this outsider cultivates the supreme lightning Tao of the 10,000 lightning sect. He should be killed. He should be killed. Hearing this, the crowd went into an uproar. Let me ask the upper echelon, if the secret techniques of the mystic true sacred clan were stolen by an outsider, what would you do? The Black Lightning Emperor asked back. Then he should be killed. The lightest punishment would be to cripple his cultivation and erase his memory. Some divine senses agreed. In fact, this was also the method of most sections. They strictly controlled their unique skills and secret skills. Most members of the mystic true sacred clan didn't dare to give out their secret techniques. Even the mystic true sacred clan severely punished these kinds of people. Is this all true? Zhao Feng was surprised. Duan Muqing's expression changed slightly, but he didn't deny it. The Wind Lightning Martial Monarch did steal from others back then. His actions were vile. The Purple Saint Partial Spirit seemed to be reminiscing. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. The truth was true. According to the rules, the 10,000 Lightning sect had the right to take back their secret techniques. Chapter 683. In the air above the main spiritual peak, several Void God Realm Emperors stared at each other. Everyone became silent. Streams of divine sense gathered there and communicated with one another. The Wind Lightning Emperor stole the essence of the 10,000 Lightning sect and created his own Wind Lightning system. Zhao Feng finally knew the truth. The Wind Lightning Emperor from 10,000 years ago was indeed a bad person, and he often stole things. The divine senses present didn't deny this. Even the Purple Saint Partial Spirit didn't object. This was the truth. No wonder the 10,000 Lightning sect dared to come. In the true martial sacred land, when the situation was balanced, reason was more important. Furthermore, the Dark Lightning Emperor and company also had the support of the Thousand Darkness Sacred Clan. More importantly, Duan Muqing was about to leave the sect, and the mystic true sacred clan wouldn't support him as much as before. What a good plan! What a calm plan! Zhao Feng's heart clenched. However, there was a new point of suspicion. What benefits did this bring to the 10,000 Lightning sect? Tell me, what is your goal? Could it be that you dare to touch the disciples of my sage sect and become enemies with me, Duan Muqing? Duan Muqing harumphed coldly. The martial monarch force on his body penetrated the heavens and earth, immeasurably deep. We obviously don't want to become enemies with Emperor Duanmu. The female in color smiled. A light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. As expected. This time, the 10,000 Thunder sect had an ulterior motive. After all, Zhao Feng was a core disciple of a 3-star sect, and he had an emperor as his master. Even the 10,000 Lightning sect didn't want to offend an emperor. As long as Zhao Feng hands over the Wind Lightning inheritance and the demigod head, we'll let this go. Is that enough? The black-skinned elder said. The experts of the mystic true sacred clan understood. The 10,000 Lightning sect's true goal was the demigod head. No wonder. Zhao Feng's heart was clear. The value of the demigod head to the number 1 Lightning sect didn't need to be described. As for the wind and lightning inheritance, it allowed one to cultivate the fastest speed among the great emperors, giving one extreme speed and offense. These two items were extremely attractive to the 10,000 Thunder sect. Let's treat this as a peaceful solution. Otherwise, my 10,000 lightning sect will have to stand against the mystic true sacred sect. The Dark Lightning Emperor snorted coldly. The expressions of the king martial emperors of the mystic true sacred clan changed. The 10,000 lightning sect dares to threaten me with this? Martial Monarch Gu Luo and Martial Monarch Mekong exchanged glances with one another. In the true martial sacred land, the Myriad Thunder sect was the strongest 2-star sect, second only to the 3-star sections. It was also the sect with the highest chance of becoming a 3-star sect. However, the 10,000 Thunder sect had remained neutral for a long time and was the core of some 2-star sects alliances. If the 10,000 Lightning sect joined the 1,000 Darkness Sacred sect, it would be extremely disadvantageous to the Mystic True Sacred clan. All of a sudden, the upper echelons of the Mystic True Sacred clan were shocked. Ridiculous! A cold laugh suddenly interrupted the standoff between the great emperors. Unknowingly when a purple-haired figure appeared below the trio. Zhao Feng has come out! Many divine wills and gazes were fixed on this cold and calm young man. Brat, what else do you have to say? The Dark Lightning Emperor harumphed coldly as a raging power of lightning shook the air. Zhao Feng knew that he couldn't fight back against the power of an emperor with his strength. Emperors were at the peak of the Void God realm and stood at the peak. Otherwise, there wouldn't be kings and emperors at the Void God realm. Firstly, the Wind Lightning Emperor is already dead. His enmity with the 10,000 Lightning sect has disappeared. I'm not related to him. Zhao Feng acted as if it had nothing to do with him. If Zhao Feng and the Wind Lightning Emperor were master and disciple, or father and son, it would be different. However, Zhao Feng was only Duan Muqing's disciple. Lies! The black-faced emperor yelled. The Wind Lightning inheritance you cultivate comes from the 10,000 Lightning sect. The 10,000 Lightning sect has the right to take it back. Wrong. Zhao Feng denied it word by word. The crowd was startled. The Wind Lightning inheritance of the Wind Lightning Emperor isn't just the Tao of lightning. This inheritance has surpassed the 10,000 lightning sects. Zhao Feng said calmly. Surpassed the 10,000 lightning sects. The eyes of Emperor Duanmu and the others lit up. That's right. This was crucial. In the world, all kinds of secret techniques would eventually have something in common. If the Wind Lightning inheritance surpassed the 10,000 lightning sects, then it had nothing to do with the 10,000 lightning sect. Indeed, the Wind Lightning inheritance isn't just the Tao of lightning. Although the Wind Lightning Emperor wasn't a good person, he did create a small sect of his own. The divine senses conversed in the air. Humph! Zhao Feng had a mocking expression. The Wind Lightning Emperor has surpassed his father and merged the Tao of wind and lightning together. He's the fastest emperor. Surpassed the Tao of wind. Zhao Feng emphasized these words. Brat! The three emperors in the air trembled as they gritted their teeth. However, this was an undeniable fact. Back then, the 10,000 lightning sect sent out so many experts but couldn't do anything to the Wind Lightning Emperor. When the Wind Lightning Emperor became a Void God Realm Emperor, the 10,000 lightning sect could only reluctantly give up. This was a humiliation to the 10,000 lightning sect. Your 10,000 lightning sect sure knows how to scheme. Finding a high-sounding excuse to ask for the deity's tribulation head and the wind and thunder inheritance, stealing the fruits of others. Zhao Feng's tone became heavier and heavier. The expressions of the three emperors from the 10,000 lightning sect became ugly. Ha ha ha, well said. The 10,000 lightning sect is shameless enough to steal the work of others. Emperor Duanmu and the emperors from the sacred clan started to laugh. Meow meow. The little thieving cat appeared out of nowhere and waved the white flag as it cheered. Brat! You're slandering us! The voices of the three emperors trembled. They were extremely embarrassed as the divine senses of the experts scanned them. They wanted to explode. However, just Duan Muqing and the other two emperors from the Mystic True sect were enough to stop them. This was the home ground of the Mystic True Sacred Clan, a 3-star power. They wouldn't dare to make a move even if they had 10,000 guts. You three should leave quickly. Don't embarrass yourselves. Duan Muqing gently waved his sleeve. Now that things had reached this point, it wasn't just one side that was right. It was a dispute. Both sides had their own reasons. However, the three emperors from the 10,000 Lightning sect had planned this for a long time. How could they give up so easily? The Dark Lightning Emperor and company had ugly expressions as they discussed in secret. Although I can challenge Duan Wuqing, he's an emperor of wood and counters our Tao of lightning, the Dark Lightning Emperor said deeply. How about this? The three soon came up with a plan. A few breaths later. Brat! You just said that the Wind Lightning Emperor surpassed the Wind Lightning Inheritance, and surpassed the 10,000 Lightning Sect, the female said. That's right. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate. This was the key to his argument. Then, let us see if your Wind Lightning Inheritance surpasses the 10,000 Lightning Sect. A faint smile appeared on the female's face. Dang dang! He's just a junior. If you want to spar, I'll accompany you, Duan Wuqing said. The three emperors all shook their heads. They obviously wouldn't challenge Duan Wuqing. Duan Wuqing was definitely one of the top emperors, and he cultivated the Tao of wood, which countered the Tao of lightning. The three emperors obviously wouldn't fight Duan Wuqing. How about this? Let the top genius of the Tao of lightning spar with Zhao Feng of the Wind Lightning Inheritance. We'll see if he's telling the truth, the Dark Lightning Emperor said slowly. They were all emperors, so it wasn't right for them to spar with a junior in his 20s. And that's not a bad idea. Both sides have their own arguments. We'll let the strongest geniuses of the two sects fight it out. The divine wills present echoed in agreement. The owners of these divine senses were mostly kings and emperors of the sacred lands. They obviously wouldn't reject such a show. Zhao Feng, what do you think? Emperor Duanmu asked. Sure. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Seeing Zhao Feng nod his head, the Dark Lightning Emperor and company revealed triumphant smiles. Soon after, a brawny barefoot male with messy hair and a dirty face arrived at the mystic true sacred clan with a giant sword on his back. Lei Jin. Zhao Feng looked at the male and wasn't surprised. Lei Jin cultivated the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique and had the lightning spiritual body, which countered many lightning techniques. This guy's strength has also increased. Some core disciples of the mystic true sacred clan looked at Lei Jin with wariness. Lei Jin had given up on the fight for the demigod's blood and the demigod Forgotten Garden. Zhao Feng, you can only use the Wind Lightning Inheritance in this spar. Any other methods don't count, the female in multicolored light said with a smile. That's not fair. Duan Wuqing's expression changed dramatically. According to her, Zhao Feng couldn't use his eye bloodline and soul to win. On the other hand, Lei Jin's lightning spiritual body and the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique countered the Tao of lightning. How was he supposed to fight? You have to prove that the Wind Lightning Inheritance surpasses the 10,000 lightning sect. That's what you have to do. The Dark Lightning Emperor snickered coldly. Hearing that, everyone was speechless. The argument was whether or not the Wind Lightning Inheritance surpassed the 10,000 lightning sect. If Zhao Feng won using other methods, it obviously didn't count. You also have to beat Lei Jin. Even if it's a draw, it doesn't prove that the Wind Lightning Inheritance surpasses the 10,000 lightning sect. The black-faced emperor let out a cunning smile and emphasized the word surpass. Arg! The divine senses present were all stunned. These people from the 10,000 lightning sect were too shameless. The biggest advantage of the Wind Lightning Inheritance was speed. Even if Zhao Feng couldn't deal with Lei Jin's lightning spiritual body, he still had a chance to fight to a draw with his speed. But unexpectedly, the 10,000 lightning sect had expected this. Our request is reasonable. Otherwise, how can we prove that the Wind Lightning Inheritance surpasses the 10,000 lightning sect? The three emperors had smug looks on their faces. Zhao Feng was also speechless. These three emperors weren't just any sly old fox. However, since he had said what he just said, he couldn't refuse. Zhao Feng, if you lose or draw, you have to hand over the demigod head and the Wind Lightning Inheritance, the Dark Lightning Emperor said emotionlessly. Haha, what if I accidentally win? Xiao Feng teased. He emphasized the word in case more firmly. The three emperors paused. They didn't think that Xiao Feng would still have a chance of winning. How about this, if I win, hand over the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique? Chapter 684. 5 elemental myriad lightning technique? Junior! Don't even think about it. The 10,000 lightning incantation is our sect's top secret technique, the most ancient lightning Tao divine incantation in the Ash-Gray Sea. The three martial monarchs reacted strongly. Xiao Feng's unreasonable request almost made them roar in anger. Xiao Feng, you don't have a special thunder spirit physique, so the 5 elemental myriad lightning technique is useless to you. The colorful woman smiled faintly. Xiao Feng naturally knew about this. Back when the Wind Lightning Emperor was cultivating in the 10,000 lightning sect, he couldn't cultivate the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique, so he found another path and comprehended the Tao of wind lightning. However, Xiao Feng could determine one thing. The foundation and level of the 5 elemental myriad lightning technique were actually superior to the wind lightning inheritance. The only drawback is the 10,000 lightning art had too high of a requirement for one's physique. Often, it would take more than 10,000 years to find a suitable genius. However, once there was a suitable thunder spirit physique to cultivate the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique, its power would be invincible, and it would be able to restrain all thunder Tao cultivation techniques in the world. Lei Jin was one of the top 10 geniuses of the sacred land with his middle stage great origin core realm cultivation. We meet again today. Lei Jin's cultivation had reached the late-stage Great Origin Core realm, and his aura of lightning became stronger. In terms of practicality, the Wind Thunder inheritance is far better than the 5 elemental myriad lightning technique. That's my bet, Xiao Feng said slowly. The crowd immediately came to a realization. This was a controversial battle. Since Xiao Feng had lost, he had to hand over the Wind and Thunder inheritance and the head of the deity tribulation. Then correspondingly, the 10,000 lightning sect also had to take out a corresponding stake. Xiao Feng specifically asked for the most fundamental inheritance of the myriad thunder sect, the 5 elemental myriad thunder art. My wind lightning inheritance's foundation is still lacking. If you add the 5 elemental myriad lightning technique and the deity tribulation head, it can be pushed to an even higher level. Xiao Feng had a plan in mind. Although the Wind Lightning inheritance was strong, it was still weaker than the Purple Saint inheritance, the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique, and other Sacred Lord inheritances. The Wind Lightning inheritance could only let Xiao Feng reach the peak stage of an emperor or barely touch the mystic light realm. As for the Purple Saint inheritance, and the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique, he could at least cultivate to the demigod level, or even touch the heavenly divine realm. This was where the difference lay. If we don't agree to the bet, that kid won't accept the challenge. The three martial monarchs of the 10,000 lightning sect discussed among themselves. On the whole, the Wind Thunder inheritance and the deity's tribulation head were indeed qualified to bet with the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning art. After all, the wind and lightning inheritance was more practical, and could create the fastest speed among great emperors. In terms of speed, the 5 elemental myriad lightning technique was inferior. Furthermore, the head of the deity tribulation was invaluable to the Thunder sect. All right, we agree. The Dark Lightning Emperor nodded solemnly. To prevent Xiao Feng from going back on his word, the Dark Thunder Great Emperor invited several neutral Great Emperors to testify. The deity's head and the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique were temporarily given to the neutral Great Emperors. Xiao Feng only smiled at this and didn't say anything. A while later, on the True King stage of the main spiritual mountain, Xiao Feng and Lei Jin stood on opposite ends of the True King stage. Several neutral Great Emperors were the judges. There were several dozen kings and emperors watching this battle. This battle became the focus of the true martial sacred land, the 2 3-star sects, and the 33 2-star sections. Xiao Feng, according to the bet, you must use the Wind Lightning inheritance to win. If you use anything else, such as your eye bloodline, you'll lose. Outside the stage, a great emperor-level referee warned. Understood. Zhao Feng nodded his head. If he didn't restrict himself, he could defeat Lei Jin with just his eye intent. The three emperors of the 10,000 Lightning sect could obviously see that Zhao Feng's soul had at least reached the level of a king. Zhao Feng! Your wind and lightning inheritance will be useless before me. Lei Jin licked his lips. The two had fought briefly in the demigod-forgotten garden. Before Zhao Feng used his half-step void god intent, he was at a slight disadvantage. At that time, Lei Jin hadn't even shown his true strength. Then let's give it a try. Zhao Feng was expressionless. Start! As soon as he finished speaking, the two figures started to move at almost the same time. Whoosh! A scarlet-red figure of wind and a five-colored figure of lightning flashed across the True King's stage. Both of them had reached an extreme speed. The Tao of Lightning specialized in speed. Those below the Void God realm couldn't even see the two's movements. Zhao Feng's speed is still a bit faster. The divine sense around the True King's stage saw everything clearly. The wind-lightning inheritance was the fusion of wind and lightning, and it contained the laws of speed. Bam! Zhao Feng attacked first and slashed out a scarlet-purple claw of wind-lightning. 100-yard-wide arc of lightning radiated with a destructive aura that suppressed the air. Child's play! Lei Jin didn't dodge. He stood still as a layer of ancient yellow lightning appeared on his body. The ancient lightning pattern seemed to form a lightning armor on the surface of his body. Crackle! The claw of wind lightning landed on Lei Jin's body and started to burn. A crack appeared on the surface of the shiny yellow thunder pattern battle armor. Ha ha ha, it's useless. My ancient lightning spiritual body cultivates the 10,000 lightning technique, which counters the Tao of lightning. Lei Jin stood where he was, completely unharmed. Zhao Feng realized that a portion of the power of his Tao of lightning had been absorbed by Lei Jin. In other words, not only was Zhao Feng's attack unable to injure Lei Jin, it might even be able to increase his strength. 10,000 lightning strike! Lei Jin roared as he spread his hands, and thousands of bolts of lightning appeared in the air. The multicolored lightning appeared to be thousands of lightning snakes. They looked very majestic, causing the world to flicker with light and darkness. Rumble! Boom! Boom! The thousands of bolts of lightning shot toward Zhao Feng, who was like an ant. The ancient lightning spiritual body can summon lightning from heaven and earth. What power! Some of the members of the mystic True Sacred clan were stunned. How could anyone below the Void God realm take this attack head-on? Wind lightning 100 change! A ball of lightning released from Zhao Feng's body. Whoosh! 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 In an instant, hundreds of Zhao Feng's lightning images appeared on the True King's stage and quickly spread out. Lei Jin's 10,000 lightning strike instantly lost its target of Zhao Feng's true body. This move of his was an area of effect lightning attack, and it was focused on a single point. Its power was close to the king level. However, without Zhao Feng's true body, the 10,000 lightning strike wasn't able to focus on a single point, and the area lightning wasn't able to do any actual damage to Zhao Feng's true body. Whoosh! 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 The lightning images on the True King stage were destroyed one by one. On top of that, the 10,000 lightning strike used up a lot of energy, so it couldn't be used continuously. Shwa! 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 10 Zhao Feng's lightning images leaped toward Lei Jin. They're here! Lei Jin's mouth curled up. It was no longer important which one of the 10 flashes of lightning was real. All of you stay here! A light flashed through Lei Jin's eyes as he grabbed the giant sword on his back. Boom! In the sky, thousands of lightning bolts landed on the huge sword, condensing into a frightening and shocking lightning power. Lightning summoning sword technique! It's that forbidden sword technique! Some of the Void God Realm kings on the True King's stage exclaimed. The lightning summoning sword technique, as the name implied, summoned the power of lightning from heaven and earth and condensed it onto the sword, unleashing power that was several, or even 10 times stronger than the user's own. This sword technique was extremely dangerous. If one wasn't careful, they would be destroyed by 10,000 lightning. Rumble! Tens of thousands of lightning bolts gathered above the true king's stage, giving off an apocalyptic aura. All the lightning gathered on the sword. The power of this sword is comparable to the full power attack of a king. No! They're even slightly stronger than normal kings. The giant sword summoned limitless lightning from heaven and earth, and with a swing, it turned into a storm of lightning that instantly covered half of the true king's stage. Boom! Boom! In his field of vision, a dazzling lightning sword light covered everything. Some of the spectating disciples had their vision and hearing blocked temporarily. Zhao Feng's real body has also been covered. The divine sense of some martial monarchs could see everything clearly, even though the 10 lightning and wind shadows were all fake. However, Zhao Feng's true body was not far away, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Pu. The 10 lightning and wind shadows were instantly annihilated. Zhao Feng's true body was also covered. Puff! Some void god realm kings exclaimed. Zhao Feng was killed just like that. He's up there! The great monarchs exclaimed. Lightning wings flying technique. Shwa! An illusory and blurry light of lightning wings flew into the sky in a way that seemed to have broken the shackles of space. It wasn't just the extreme speed of wind lightning, it also involved the principles of space. A purple-haired male with wings of wind and lightning floated above Lei Zhen's head. How is this possible? Lei Zhen exclaimed. He had just finished using the lightning-attracting sword, and his body was in a state of exhaustion. Something was even more subtle. The millions of bolts of lightning above his head had been absorbed by the giant sword, and he was now in a vacuum. Zhao Feng's lightning wings flying technique just happened to appear there. Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning! The wings on Zhao Feng's back flapped, and he flashed like lightning. Boom! A scarlet lightning that seemed to be burning condensed into an extremely domineering fist light and bombarded Lei Zhen's body. Pun! Lei Zhen screamed as his body was sent flying. The lightning around him shattered, and a layer of scarlet lightning burned him. The power of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning contained an aura of destruction, and it kept on burning. Wah! Lei Zhen spat out a mouthful of blood and sat on the ground. The Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning was still burning him. The surface of his body was scorched black. If it weren't for the fact that he had the ancient lightning spirit body and cultivated the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique, even a half-step void god realm would have been turned to ashes. Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning! That brat has cultivated the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning to such a level. He even resolved the conflict of elements, and condensed the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning to such a level. The expressions of the 3 emperors from the 10,000 lightning sect changed dramatically. Yao Feng's Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning was extremely strong. It was no longer the same as back in the demigod Forgotten Garden. They didn't know that Zhao Feng had obtained the Dragon Flame Wine and Lightning Cloud Wine from the demigod wine cellar. Furthermore, even the Wind Lightning Emperor wasn't able to control the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning to such a level. Humph! My Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning has already surpassed the Wind Lightning Emperors. A mocking smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The aura of the ancient dream realm had been merged into the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning, and its power was closer to the origin. Not only was it stable, but it was also stronger. The biggest mistake of the 10,000 Lightning sect was that they judged Zhao Feng by the Wind Lightning Emperor's standards. As the saying went, the student surpassed the master. Chapter 685. Plop! Lei Zhen landed on the ground with a faint red layer of wind lightning burning around him. Zhao Feng's close-range attack had severely injured him. So fast! This brat's Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning has surpassed the Wind Lightning Emperor. Discussion broke out around the true king stage. The expressions of some kings and emperors changed. The student surpassed the master. The Wind Lightning Emperor had surpassed the 10,000 Lightning sect and was the fastest emperor. And now, Zhao Feng's mastery of the Wind Lightning inheritance had surpassed the Wind Lightning Emperor. We've underestimated this, Junior. The Dark Lightning Emperor and company had solemn expressions. First, Zhao Feng's mastery of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning had exceeded their expectations. Normally, one could only comprehend the surface of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning before reaching the Void God realm. However, Zhao Feng's mastery of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning had reached over 50%. Second, Zhao Feng had solved the problem of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning being chaotic and conflicting elements. He had stabilized the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning, and not only did he successfully control it, its power became even stronger. As expected of Big Brother Zhao Feng. It's only been a month or two, and his strength has increased by so much. Zhao Yufei appeared near the True King stage. The battle today was only second to her battle with Nan Gongxing. Of course, the level of this battle was slightly lower. Last time, both Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongxing's battle power had reached the Void God realm. Lei Jin, even if I don't use my eye bloodline, you're still not my match. Zhao Feng floated in the air, and the wings of wind and lightning on his back were like real feathers. His wings of wind and lightning had almost materialized. Zhao Feng's gaze scanned over Lei Jin and the Dark Lightning Emperor and company. I haven't lost yet. Lei Jin roared as a layer of 5 elemental water lightning surrounded his body and destroyed the remaining Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning. The main reason he lost just now was because of his speed, and Zhao Feng found an opening. When 5-colored lightning radiated from Lei Jin's body. His aura surged, emitting the aura of the ancient lightning Tao. Immediately, an enormous and ancient lightning illusionary figure was about to form behind Lei Jin. The lightning silhouette held a lightning hammer with both hands, and its gaze was like a torch. Its aura penetrated through time and space, and it drew upon the vast might of lightning in the world. Shadow of a Thunder Spirit! Drawing upon the shadow of the ancient Thunder Spirit, I'm not afraid of the backlash. The expressions of the Void God realm experts near the True King's stage changed. In a flash, the shadow of the lightning spirit behind Lei Jin was about to form, and its aura of lightning had reached the level of a king. Wind Thunder Wings Slash! In the void, a sharp shadow of lightning wings suddenly streaked across. Zhao Feng was only left with the afterimage of his lightning wings. Immediately after, Qi! That scarlet lightning wing wind shadow broke through the shackles of space and slashed through Lei Jin's body. Ah! Lei Jin screamed and fell to the ground. The shadow of the ancient thunder spirit behind him instantly dimmed and quickly dissipated. Those below the Void God realm didn't know what was going on. Only a few emperors stared at Lei Jin's legs. Plop! After Lei Jin fell to the ground, his legs suddenly separated from his body. What was even weirder was that his legs had been cut off, but there wasn't even a drop of blood left behind as they were burned by the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning. Jiozhiner, quick! The female in multicolored light exclaimed. The 3 emperors from the 10,000 lightning sect landed next to Lei Jin. In the world of peak 2-star and 3-star sects, being injured or disabled wasn't a big problem. However, the injuries that Lei Jin had suffered weren't from a normal attack. The Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning contained the intent of destruction, and it was burning with lightning. If he had been saved a bit later, he might have been crippled. Hu Zhao Feng let out a breath and used the lightning wings flying technique to leave the True King stage, just in case the 3 emperors became angry. He had indeed been in danger just then. If the shadow of the ancient thunder spirit had formed, Zhao Feng would have faced a king-level lightning cultivator. Therefore, Zhao Feng didn't hold back and used his fastest Wind Lightning Wings Slash. The Wind Lightning Wings Slash was a profound skill of the lightning wings. Its attack contained the principles of the Wind Lightning Spatial Escape. It could be said that this slash contained the essence of the Wind Lightning inheritance. It contained both speed and offense. Damn, the power of this lightning wings slash can threaten kings. Some of the Void God realm kings present were slightly wary. Zhao Yufei and Nan Gongxing arrived. Nan Gongxing arrived later. When he arrived, he saw Zhao Feng use the lightning wing slash to cut off Lei Jin's legs. If this wind lightning wing slash was used as a sneak attack, even kings might lose. And Gongxing had a solemn expression. In this fight, Zhao Feng didn't use his eye bloodline or his soul dimension advantage. Emperors, do you have anything to say? You've all seen that Zhao Feng used the wind lightning inheritance to defeat the number one lightning genius of your sect. Duan Muqing had a warm smile. In the truth, he was slightly worried before the battle. After all, Zhao Feng's strongest domain had been restricted, so he had to use the wind lightning inheritance to defeat Lei Jin. On the other hand, Lei Jin's body technique countered the power of lightning in heaven and earth. The Dark Lightning Emperor and company barely stabilized the injuries of their lightning wings, and their expressions were grim. And Zhao Feng did indeed win this battle. There's no doubt about it. The key to Zhao Feng's victory was speed. This is the advantage of the wind lightning inheritance that surpasses the 10,000 lightning sect. The neutral emperor judges nodded their heads in agreement. Just like that. Under everyone's gazes, Zhao Feng took back the demigod head and the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique. The Dark Lightning Emperor and company were unwilling, but they couldn't go back on their words. There was no dispute over the outcome of this battle under the watchful eyes of everyone. 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique. Zhao Feng took the ancient lightning inheritance sacred technique and quickly scanned it with his god's spiritual eye. With his god's spiritual eye's current ability, he could copy the entire content of a thick book with one glance. Soon, a virtual 10,000 lightning technique appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. What he copied was a three-dimensional virtual object, not simple words. Zhao Feng, you don't have a special lightning spiritual physique. Even if you have the 10,000 lightning technique, it's useless. The Dark Lightning Emperor harumphed coldly. Even though the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique had lost to Zhao Feng, the three emperors had requested Zhao Feng to read it and destroy it on the spot, swearing not to teach it to anyone. Poof! The 10,000 lightning technique in Zhao Feng's hand instantly burned and turned to ashes. The three martial monarchs were startled. It seemed that Zhao Feng hadn't even read the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique. Even emperors don't have the ability to memorize the contents of the book so quickly with their divine sense. Some of the experts present were shocked. Could it be that Zhao Feng knew he couldn't cultivate it, so he destroyed the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique and humiliated the 10,000 lightning sect? This brat! The three emperors of the 10,000 lightning sect had gloomy expressions. Zhao Feng ignored the discussion and turned into a gust of wind as he returned to his residence. Zhao Feng, in a month, we'll use the zone teleportation array to leave. We'll use the grand teleportation formation to leave. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat and he immediately agreed. Zhao Feng's heart shook and he immediately agreed. He didn't have the right to use this spiritual zone teleportation array alone. With Duan Muqing's status and connections, he would have to pay a certain price to activate it. Zhao Feng, Duan Muqing, and Zhao Yufei would leave the sacred land together. Now that his master had left, Zhao Feng, as a disciple, had no one to rely on, so he naturally wouldn't stay. The 10,000 lightning sect also knew this, which was why they came. Unfortunately, their wishful thinking did not come to fruition, and they suffered a double loss. Back at his residence, Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he started to think. Right now, he had Duan Muqing's protection in the true martial sacred land, so he wasn't afraid of the Emperor of Death. However, once he left the sacred land and parted ways with his master, he might be hunted down again. Zhao Feng let out a long breath and closed his eyes. In the Soul Sea, he circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and continuously whittled away at the intent of the eyes of death. Compared to before, the intent of the eyes of death has weakened by 60 to 70%. Zhao Feng murmured. If he blocked the god's spiritual eye and used a secret technique to conceal his soul aura, the eyes of death might only be able to sense 1/10 of what it was before. However, Zhao Feng didn't feel that it was safe enough. In the past, it was the Emperor of Death's subordinates that chased after me. In the future, the Emperor of Death's senses will definitely be stronger than those death guards. Zhao Feng wasn't confident. In the remaining time, half of his consciousness was used to whittle away at the intent of the eyes of death. It was constantly whittling away at the intent. Apart from that, Zhao Feng found a secret technique that could seal off his soul aura from the 10,000 divine thoughts technique. Apart from sealing off his aura, Zhao Feng didn't stop cultivating. However, his progress in comprehending the God Tribulation Lightning was extremely slow. As for the 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique, Zhao Feng couldn't cultivate it. The 5 elemental 10,000 lightning technique merged the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Without a special lightning spiritual body, one couldn't cultivate it. Zhao Feng left this technique behind so that he could use it as a reference. At the same time, he wanted to absorb the power of the God Tribulation Lightning faster. After all, the 10,000 lightning technique contained the laws of the God Tribulation Lightning. 7 days later, Zhao Feng sighed. His mastery of the Tao of Lightning and the power of the God Tribulation Lightning had reached a bottleneck. He still had some lightning cloud wine and dragon flame wine left, but he didn't use them. Firstly, using them continuously wasn't the best. Secondly, using external items to cultivate wasn't very stable. Seeing this, Zhao Feng temporarily stopped cultivating the Wind Lightning inheritance. Illusion God Wine! A purple crystal cup appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. He still had half a cup of Illusion God Wine left. At this moment, Zhao Feng's soul was even stronger than normal kings, and he had formed an intent. Even without the help of the Illusion God Wine, he could quickly comprehend king intent and king intent. I'll leave the rest of the Illusion God Wine for when I become a king. Zhao Feng had his own long-term goal. The Illusion God Wine could help kings comprehend intents, although the effect wasn't as strong as those below the Void God realm. Shwa! Zhao Feng put away the Illusion God Wine. It's time to go to the ancient dream realm and explore. Zhao Feng closed his eyes. His consciousness entered the whirlpool in the center of the blue lake in the Soul Sea. In the next instant, Zhao Feng entered the ancient dimension. In the ancient dream realm, the pressure of heaven and earth came crashing down. The pressure here was many times stronger than in the demigod Forgotten Garden. Kings could fly in the demigod Forgotten Garden, but here, they could only take a stroll. This time, Zhao Feng's ability to endure this pressure had increased significantly. Ta! Ta! Zhao Feng walked forward. Although the pressure was strong, it was easier than before. Now, he had the ability to explore the ancient dream realm. Chapter 686. After going through the demigod Forgotten Garden, Zhao Feng's state of existence and soul power had reached a whole new level. This time, it was much easier for him to explore the ancient dream realm again. If I don't move, I can stay here for a day or two. Zhao Feng slowly walked forward. His eyes were filled with caution as he scanned the surroundings with his god's spiritual eye. Previously, he had encountered a powerful ancient demonic bird in the ancient dream realm. Any random demonic bird they encountered had an aura that was above the king level. He couldn't even estimate how strong the larger beings and some of the higher races were. Therefore, Zhao Feng was extremely careful and kept his guard up. Ta ta! Ta ta! Zhao Feng's steps were steady, neither fast nor slow. If he was tired, he could sit down and rest. Breathing in the aura of the ancient dream realm had a cleansing effect on Zhao Feng's bloodline and even his soul. However, the effect of the ancient dream realm aura on Zhao Feng was starting to decrease, and it was becoming slower and slower. After all, Zhao Feng's state of existence and soul had both reached the king level. In front of him was a field of grass. There was a small river at the edge of the field. The grass was Zhao Feng's first target. Let's get to the grass first. Zhao Feng estimated that it would take 1,000 steps to reach the grass. 1,000 steps. If it was half a year ago, it would be extremely difficult for Zhao Feng. At that time, it would be good if he could walk 10 to 20 steps. But now, Zhao Feng's compatibility with the ancient dream realm had increased, and his soul was stronger. It shouldn't be a problem for him to walk a few hundred steps at once. 10 steps, 100 steps, 150 steps. Zhao Feng walked very carefully. At a certain moment, he saw a black dot flash across the sky. A sparrow? Zhao Feng paused. The sparrow flew across the sky. Its aura was strong, and although it wasn't as strong as the Yao bird, it was still comparable to a sovereign lord. At this moment, Zhao Feng's nerves tensed up, and his face was full of wariness. However, the sparrow ignored Zhao Feng and flew past him. It seems like the ancient dream realm is similar to reality. Not all living creatures are aggressive. Zhao Feng let out a sigh of relief. He quickened his pace a little. Afterward, his god's spiritual eye saw some other small lifeforms such as ants and bugs. Their auras were incredibly powerful, which were at least comparable to the martial highness realm. These living beings are probably the weakest beings in the ancient dream realm. They haven't cultivated at all, but they already have such powerful auras. Zhao Feng's heart trembled. Of course, although these living beings were not as powerful as Zhao Feng, they were born and raised in the ancient dream realm, so they did not feel any repulsion. Zhao Feng's thoughts were all over the place, and he was full of doubts. What kind of world was the ancient dream realm? If it was a dream, why was the injury synchronized with reality? It was his consciousness that had entered, so why was the aura inside able to benefit from reality? Zhao Feng had a feeling. If he died in the ancient dream realm, then he would definitely die in reality. The ancient dream realm was just too weird. It was connected to the god's spiritual eye, so what kind of secrets did it have? With Zhao Feng's current level, he couldn't think of any of these questions. Let's not think about this for now. Let's see if I can get some other benefits. Zhao Feng retracted his thoughts. Just a sliver of the ancient dream realm's aura had such a huge effect. Then what about the other things inside? Let's see if I can find some fruits, Zhao Feng said. His god's spiritual eye scanned the area once again. Fruits could only be found in the forest. However, the environment of the forest was more complicated, and Zhao Feng could not guarantee that he wouldn't meet some aggressive living beings. Let's go to the river first. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye saw the river on the other side of the grass. He didn't know if the water in the ancient dream realm would have any effects if he drank it. Thinking about this, Zhao Feng's heart shook. However, to reach the river, he had to first reach the grass. The grass was close to 1,000 steps away from him. 200 steps. 300 steps. After walking a few hundred steps, Zhao Feng felt tired and his breathing quickened. Let's rest for a while. Zhao Feng wasn't in a rush and sat down cross-legged. He was still 700 to 800 steps away from the grass. From the grass to the river, it would take at least 10 times the distance. Sitting down cross-legged, Zhao Feng recovered his energy. Just at this moment, Zhao Feng heard a weird sound. He looked to the left, and was instantly shocked. A 3-foot-long spotted snake was crawling leisurely as it spat out its tongue. Snake! Zhao Feng shuddered and he was on full alert. In the ancient dream realm, just a sliver of aura was so strong. The living being inside was definitely not simple. Not to mention that it was a snake. As if sensing the unusual aura, the spotted snake suddenly straightened its body and raised its head, staring coldly at Zhao Feng. The two were less than 10 feet away from each other. At such a close distance, Zhao Feng felt a faint sense of danger. At this moment, Zhao Feng and the spotted snake faced each other. The aura of this snake is stronger than the sparrow, but it's weaker than the demonic bird, Zhao Feng thought. Buzz! Wisps of scarlet destruction wind lightning appeared on Zhao Feng's palm, which were as thick as a needle. He had no choice. In the ancient dream realm, his power was suppressed to the limit. Zhao Feng estimated that his scarlet destruction wind lightning would collapse after it left his body. No, I need a good weapon. An earth-grade sword appeared in Zhao Feng's hand. For the current Zhao Feng, normal earth-grade weapons weren't very valuable. His ability was comparable to a Void God Realm King, and it couldn't be measured using normal standards. This Earth-grade sword was 4 to 5 feet long and was extremely sharp. With this Earth-grade sword, Xiao Feng's confidence increased. At the very least, he didn't need to fight a snake with unknown venom with his fists. At the same time, Xiao Feng's god's spiritual eye locked onto the spotted snake. Slash! A sharp light flashed through Xiao Feng's eyes as the earth-grade sword in his hand glowed with a scarlet light. The spotted snake's reaction wasn't slow either. So, it jumped into the air and bit towards Xiao Feng. In terms of speed, it was faster and more agile than Xiao Feng. After all, it was born in the ancient dream realm, so it didn't need to face the rejection of space. Xiao Feng's advantage was that he attacked first. His god's spiritual eye could also see the snake's movements. Therefore, even though Xiao Feng's speed and agility were slightly weaker, the earth-grade sword still landed heavily on the spotted snake's head. Ding! A strange sound came from the edge of the sword. Following this, a powerful force surged over and caused Xiao Feng's figure to sway slightly. At the same time, the spotted snake was knocked back by the sword. It let out a hiss as a shallow mark was left on its forehead. What a strong body! It wasn't easy for Xiao Feng to swing the sword. He had to face a certain amount of rejection and extra pressure in this dimension. Luckily, that sword also left a slight wound on the spotted snake. So, the spotted snake became ferocious and leapt towards Xiao Feng. Xiao Feng calmly opened his god's spiritual eye to the maximum and locked onto the spotted snake. A scarlet arc of light formed on the earth-grade sword. Bam! The long sword pierced through the air, heading straight for the snake's head. It immediately pierced into the snake's mouth. Xiao Feng's hand shook slightly. Luckily, the earth-grade sword had pierced into the snake's mouth, and the scarlet destruction wind lightning started to burn. Si! The spotted snake struggled with all its might. In the ancient dream realm, Xiao Feng's strength was greatly limited and he wasn't strong enough to instantly kill it. Scarlet Destruction Eye Flame! With a thought from Xiao Feng, a transparent scarlet-colored flame of wind lightning the size of a thumb landed on the snake's head and started to spread. Snakes were afraid of fire, and this spotted snake was no exception. Furthermore, Xiao Feng's eye flame could pierce through both the physical and mental energy dimensions. A few breaths later, half of the spotted snake's body was burnt, and it stopped struggling. Extinguish! Xiao Feng walked over and extinguished the flames, then picked up the burnt snake's body. I wonder how effective this snake meat is, Xiao Feng murmured. The spotted snake's body was extremely strong, and it was influenced by the aura of the ancient dream realm. Shwa! With a thought, Xiao Feng disappeared from the ancient dream realm. In the real world, the little thieving cat sat on him and started to absorb the remaining aura of the ancient dream realm. Meow meow! The little thieving cat waved its paws excitedly as it looked at the burnt snake meat. Little Kun Yun! Xiao Feng didn't give the snake meat to the little thieving cat. Instead, he called out the child demigod. The child demigod was still around 3 years old, and a faint golden glow appeared on his skin. Xiao Feng knew that this demigod Kun Yun was a body-strengthening expert when he was alive. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to keep his body intact after being struck by the god tribulation lightning for so long. What kind of snake meat is this? The child demigod stared at the burnt snake and could feel the extraordinary aura coming from it. It's for you. Xiao Feng handed the spotted snake to the demigod Kun Yun and told him to eat it in front of him. Although the child demigod was only around 3 years old, his body-strengthening abilities were extremely strong. He was even stronger than the skeletal division leader. Give it a try. The child demigod didn't dare to disobey, even though he knew that Xiao Feng was treating him like a lab rat. On the other hand, the little thieving cat looked at the snake meat with envy. The child demigod glanced at it smugly, and took out a sharp dagger to cut the snake meat. So hard! The child demigod's eyebrows furrowed as he used all his strength to barely cut the snake meat. A while later, the child demigod took out a piece of snake meat and roasted it with fire. The smell of meat filled his nose. He carefully took a bite. The expression of the child demigod changed dramatically when the snake meat entered his stomach, and he immediately sat down and circulated his true yuan. This snake meat contains the origin aura of heaven and earth. Its flesh power is even stronger than the heart-blood essence of a sea whale. The child demigod was overjoyed. Just one bite of the snake meat was enough to increase his true yuan, body, and blood essence. Meow meow! The little thieving cat finally couldn't take it anymore and leaped toward the snake meat. This is mine! The child demigod said angrily as he fought with the little thieving cat over the remaining snake meat. In the end, the little thieving cat had the upper hand, and it split the remaining 2/3. The child demigod had a few claw marks on his face, but he didn't care about his image and ate the remaining snake meat. Zhao Feng had a weird expression as he watched the child demigod and the little thieving cat split the snake meat. Master, where did you get this snake meat? Is there more? The child demigod licked his lips. He found that the origin aura within the snake meat increased the recovery of his demigod bloodline. Meow meow! The little thieving cat was also interested, and its black eyes twinkled as it tried to please Zhao Feng. Chapter 687. Zhao Feng told the child demigod to eat the snake meat first because he wanted to use him as a lab rat. However, the snake meat from the ancient dream realm contained an aura of heaven and earth, as well as a strong fleshly aura. Zhao Feng ate a mouthful of the snake meat and felt it. Initial analysis: the fleshly aura contained within the snake meat was even stronger than the heart-blood essence. Apart from that, the aura from the ancient dream realm was extremely dense. My body has already absorbed too much of the aura from the ancient dream realm, and I've used the heart-blood essence, the purple-scaled grass, and the demigod's blood. The snake meat's effect on me is only SOSO. Zhao Feng circulated his true yuan to digest the fleshly aura within the snake meat. Although the snake meat was valuable, it also had its flaws. Firstly, it didn't have much of an effect on those above the void god realm. Secondly, the snake meat was too hard to digest. Those below the origin core realm might not be able to digest it. However, the child demigod and the little thieving cat couldn't be judged by normal standards. They could absorb the snake meat in a short amount of time. Master, this kind of snake meat can be refined into a spiritual blood core pill. Even those below the true spirit realm can easily absorb it, the child demigod suggested. Some of the ingredients that were hard to digest could be refined into pills that could increase the effect. Being a former demigod, the golden-skinned child knew how to refine pills. This kind of snake meat can only be found by luck. Zhao Feng shook his head faintly. He didn't want to expose the secret of the ancient dream realm. After all, this was a place that could bring many benefits to cultivation. The child demigod couldn't help but be disappointed. If he had a large amount of this meat, his life bloodline would recover faster. Meow meow! The little thieving cat glanced suspiciously at Zhao Feng, but it didn't say anything. It was extremely familiar with the aura of the snake meat. Zhao Feng didn't say anything else. He was wary of the child demigod. Master! A voice sounded from the 10,000 Ghosts Pearl. This time, it was the skeletal division leader. After leaving the demigod Forgotten Garden, Zhao Feng had gathered a large amount of resources and given them to the skeletal division leader. Now, the skeletal division leader had successfully reached the Great Origin Core realm. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had given the skeletal division leader full control of the Ghost Corpse Curse Legion, including the Golden Skeleton. The 100 cursed corpses didn't pose much of a threat to kings. For Zhao Feng, it was better than nothing. Of course. After absorbing the essence of hundreds of primal core realms, the power of the cursed ghost corpses had increased dramatically, and it was almost unparalleled against those below the void god realm. Master, ever since the curse of the 100 corpses absorbed the mysterious aura you injected into it, its potential has greatly increased. A few of them advanced to the venerable realm, the skeletal division leader reported. Oh? Zhao Feng was greatly surprised. When he had sealed the Void Ocean's spiritual palace, he had injected the aura of the ancient dream realm into each of the cursed ghost corpses. Unexpectedly, some of the cursed ghost corpses were gradually evolving to the venerable level. There were many factors involved in this. Firstly, the 100 cursed corpses had absorbed the souls and blood essence of too many rare beasts. Secondly, the aura of the ancient dream realm and the 10,000 ghost pearl had both helped. "What do you think?" Xiao Feng asked. "Master, if you're willing to put in more resources and that mysterious aura, I believe the 100 cursed ghost corpses will be able to reach the origin core realm. At that time, the 100 cursed ghost corpses will be able to threaten kings," the skeletal division leader said. As Xiao Feng's strength increased, its value became smaller and smaller. It couldn't allow itself to lose its value. On the other hand, the 100 cursed ghost corpses were the only way to maintain its value. Hearing that, Xiao Feng started to think. If the 100 cursed ghost corpses all reached the origin core realm and devoured a few kings, their power would be enough to scare gods and ghosts. As for resources, Xiao Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. Resources? He thought of the ancient dream realm. If the 100 cursed ghost corpses could devour the lifeforms in the ancient dream realm, the effect would be far greater than normal origin core realms. Furthermore, the lifeforms in the ancient dream realm contained an even stronger aura. "Sure. I'll leave the details to you," Xiao Feng agreed. Originally, he wasn't very interested in the 100 cursed ghost corpses. However, it would be a waste if he didn't make use of the ancient dream realm. A while later, Xiao Feng sat down cross-legged, and his consciousness entered the ancient dream realm once more. Ancient dream realm. Xiao Feng appeared at his original position, and there were still traces of fighting with the snake. His target was the grass in front of him. Xiao Feng estimated that there would be more small animals near the grass. Of course, his next target was the river. The river was the source of water, and there should be some carnivores there. Xiao Feng was thinking about what effect the water in the ancient dream realm would have. After all, water was the source of life. On the way, Xiao Feng was still cautious. After this, when they met some small animals, such as bugs, snakes, squirrels, and rabbits, Xiao Feng would kill them. Xiao Feng found that the Eye of Eye Soul paired with the Scarlet Destruction Eye Flame was very effective. The Eye of Eye Soul greatly decreased the speed of the animals' thoughts. Although these animals had strong bodies, their soul strength was far weaker than Xiao Feng's. The Scarlet Destruction Eye Flame countered these animals. Xiao Feng would throw most of the corpses into the 10,000 Ghost Pearl. In the ancient dream realm, Xiao Feng could use interspatial items. Everything here was the same as in reality. Within the 10,000 Ghost Pearl, the auras of the cursed ghost corpses became stronger after devouring the small animals. On the first day, several cursed ghost corpses reached the origin core realm. These ghost corpses were all at the half-step origin core realm, and a few were at the origin core realm. Great! Within the 10,000 Ghost Pearl, the skeletal division leader was overjoyed and shocked. This speed of improvement was too fast. If this continued, all the cursed ghost corpses would reach the origin core realm in less than 10 days. At that time, the power of the ghost corpse cursed array would rise to a whole new level. Furthermore, the power of the flesh and blood was also beneficial to the skeletal division leader, and its bones and body would become stronger. On the third day, Xiao Feng successfully arrived at the grassy area. In reality, he had spent most of his time killing small animals over the past 2 days. After reaching the grassy area, Xiao Feng sped up. "Let's go to the river first." Xiao Feng mainly wanted to see what the water in the ancient dream realm was capable of. However, the distance from the grassy area to the river was 10 times longer than before. On the way, Xiao Feng sped up. He wouldn't kill any small animals unless he bumped into them. On the 5th day after Xiao Feng entered the ancient dream realm, more than half of the cursed ghost corpses within the 10,000 Ghost Pearl had reached the origin core realm. The skeletal division leader trembled with excitement. Once it achieved its goal, the ghost corpse cursed array would be able to threaten even kings. On the 6th day, Zhao Feng walked to the edge of the grassy area. Whoosh! Whoosh! There was a small river in front of him that was several yards wide. I'm finally here. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. Over the past few days, he had stayed in the ancient dream realm, and his bloodline had become stronger, even though it wasn't as strong as before. After reaching the river, Zhao Feng became more cautious and cautious. Since it was a water source, there would occasionally be some larger animals such as sheep, wolves, deer, etc. Some of the larger animals were harder for Zhao Feng to kill. If he met wolves, tigers, leopards, or dogs, he would be in danger. Luckily, Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye had a strong vision, so he tried to keep his distance from the more aggressive animals. Let's get some water first. Zhao Feng walked to the river and scanned the water with his god's spiritual eye. This was just a small river, and there were no large animals such as crocodiles, only some fish and prawns. Zhao Feng took out the green spiritual gourd and filled it with water. Right at this moment, a commotion broke out near the river. Some of the animals that were drinking water, such as cows, sheep, and deer, ran away in fear. A wave of cold wolf howls came from afar, making one's heart go cold. Zhao Feng looked over and saw a pack of more than 10 wolves charging over with a bloodthirsty aura. These wolves had come to drink water and to kill nearby animals. Zhao Feng was also a target. Go! With a thought, Zhao Feng disappeared from the ancient dream realm. Every single one of these wolves was more than 10 times stronger than the spotted snakes from before. Furthermore, wolves were very good at teamwork. Zhao Feng's strength was suppressed in the ancient dream realm, so he would be at a disadvantage if he met a wolf pack. Within the room, Zhao Feng took out the green spiritual gourd. The little thieving cat sat on his shoulder, its eyes bright as it looked on. Zhao Feng smiled and gave the little thieving cat a bucket's worth of water. Gulu! The little thieving cat drank a few mouthfuls of the ancient dream realm water and instantly sat down to meditate. Zhao Feng also drank a mouthful and felt a cool sensation spread through his body. His ice-water bloodline started to become restless as it absorbed the mysterious power within the ancient dream realm water. This water can nourish the body and is easier to absorb. Zhao Feng was surprised. The ancient dream realm water nourished his body and his bloodline. The effect was the same as his bloodline from before. However, the water was warm and easy to absorb. Zhao Feng drank large mouthfuls and found that his state of existence and bloodline were showing signs of increasing. The water in the ancient dream realm is comparable to some of the precious liquids in the fan universe. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. If he drank large amounts of this water for a long period of time, it would greatly benefit his bloodline and physique. Zhao Feng estimated that the value of a mouthful of this water was close to 1,000th of a drop of the demigod's blood. Of course, as the amount increased, the effect would decrease. Several days later, Zhao Feng didn't enter the ancient dream realm again. Apart from drinking the ancient dream realm water, he spent most of his energy comprehending and wearing down the intent of the Eye of Death. Several days later, a wisp of powerful intent and magnificent power appeared in the room that Zhao Feng was in. Boom! In the sky, the wind howled furiously. Lightning flashed and arcs of lightning crisscrossed, causing the nearby world to flicker between light and dark. The newly formed magnificent power seemed to be purposely being suppressed, and it only lasted for a few breaths before disappearing. However, this still attracted the attention of some kings from the mystic True Sacred clan. My king intent has succeeded. Zhao Feng took a deep breath. He didn't use the remaining half a cup of illusion god wine, and relied on himself to form his king intent. Because of his previous comprehension and his powerful soul, forming a complete king intent wasn't hard for him. At the same time, as Zhao Feng drank the dragon flame wine, lightning cloud wine, and large amounts of ancient dream realm water, the crystal core within his body reached the late-stage Great Origin Core realm. Chapter 688. After forming the king intent, Zhao Feng had reached a limit in every aspect, and it would be hard for him to break through in a short amount of time. His late-stage Great Origin Core realm cultivation was top-tier even amongst the geniuses of the Sacred Land. Apart from his true Yuan cultivation, Zhao Feng's state of existence and soul were both at the king level or higher. At this moment in time, no less than 10 divine senses scanned over Zhao Feng's residence. No matter how low-key Zhao Feng tried, he couldn't completely hide the newly formed king intent. The owners of these divine senses sighed. A 23-year-old youth at the Great Origin Core realm had comprehended king intent. What kind of miracle was that? The potential that Zhao Feng displayed might have even surpassed the number one genius of the Sacred Land, Nan Gongxing. Only Zhao Yufei, who had the spiritual race bloodline, could cultivate faster than Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, you're improving very quickly. But there's only 10 days left before we leave. Duan Wuqing's sigh sounded. Zhao Feng's strength was enough to challenge kings. However, even kings and emperors weren't able to survive the pursuit of death. Last 10 days. Zhao Feng nodded his head solemnly. There were only 10 days left until he was protected by the true martial Sacred Land. The true martial Sacred Land wasn't Zhao Feng's final destination. Floating Dream Spiritual Zone. Sky Sacred Qin Palace. Zhao Feng murmured in his heart. If he could confirm Lu Qinxin's whereabouts, he wouldn't have much to worry about on his path of cultivation. The last 10 days, Zhao Feng officially came out of seclusion and stopped cultivating. Of course, the Eye of Death intent didn't stop wearing down. Zhao Feng coming out of seclusion attracted the attention of many members of the clan. That day, Zhao Feng's battle with Lei Jin confirmed his position as the number one genius of the Tao of Lightning. Zhao Feng left the main spiritual peak after walking out of his residence. This was the first time Zhao Feng had left the territory of the clan after the demigod Forgotten Garden. Soon, Zhao Feng arrived at the Golden Mountain sect. He scanned the entire Golden Mountain sect with his divine sense without hesitation. Very soon, Zhao Feng saw Old Li, the blue-robed king, Li Yenya, Lulan Jishui, and the other sailors. Zhao Feng! The blue-robed king exclaimed as he sensed Zhao Feng's king divine sense. He was quite shocked. How long had it been? Was it even a year? Back then, the ant-like junior in his eyes had already formed a complete king's will. The Void God realm was a transformation of the soul. As for Zhao Feng, the transformation and sublimation of his soul and intent had been completed ahead of time. The door to becoming a king had been completely opened for him. In less than a year or two, Zhao Feng would be able to become a king. After a while. In a side hall of the Golden Mountain sect. This was the ideal level of the Wings of Wind and Lightning, Lightning Wings Spatial Flash. Chapter 689. An outline of the Lightning Wings Spatial Flash appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Right now, he had only trained the Lightning Wings Wind Flash in the basics. The Lightning Wings Wind Flash was the representative flying technique of the Wings of Wind and Lightning, and it contained the essence of speed within the Wind-Lightning inheritance. With the Lightning Wings Wind Flash, Zhao Feng was confident that his flying speed would be faster than many Void God Realm kings. Time passed by quickly. In the last 2 days, Zhao Feng comprehended the Wings of Wind and Lightning while grinding away at the Eye of Death intent. 2 days later, Zhao Feng let out a long breath, put away the little thieving cat and the child demigod, and went to Emperor Duanwu's palace. The child demigod's improvement was shocking, and his cultivation had reached the late-stage Great Origin Core realm. This was only because Zhao Feng had restricted him in terms of flesh and blood. Emperor Duanwu's palace. Good, everyone's here. Duan Wuqing nodded his head faintly. Next to him stood Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei. The three of them had taken care of everything and were just waiting to use the spiritual zone teleportation array. Let's go! With a thought, Emperor Duanwu's magnificent power covered Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei. Shwa! The next instant, the three of them disappeared from the main spiritual peak. What speed! Zhao Feng was surprised. Duan Wuqing took the two of them and left the territory of the mystic true sacred clan in one step. In Zhao Feng's senses, he felt as if he had switched dimensions. Void God Realm Emperors had reached the peak of the fulfillment realm. Their comprehension of heaven and earth and understanding of space surpassed normal kings. A breath or two later, Duan Muqing and company landed on the 10,000 Ancient Sacred Peak. The 10,000 Ancient Sacred Peak was considered a neutral ground in the true martial sacred land, and many inheritances were left here. When Zhao Feng arrived, there was a 2-star power with hundreds of disciples here. There! Zhao Feng was a little surprised. Duan Muqing looked around and explained. The ancestors of some 2-star sects left their inheritances on the myriad ancient sacred peak before they died. This will become the legacy of the sect's younger generation. Zhao Feng suddenly understood. He had vaguely heard of these stories when he first entered the Holy Land. Of course, these inheritances are nothing compared to top secret realms like the demigod Forgotten Garden, Duan Muqing said. There were no more than 3 inheritances or secret realms like the demigod Forgotten Garden. He ignored this 2-star sect. Martial Monarch Duanmu led the way and arrived at the base of the formation where the 8 pillars were located. Each of the 8 ancient bluestone pillars was 300 meters tall, and its surface was engraved with obscure and ancient runes. The runes of the array gave off a 3-dimensional feeling of overlapping space. Under Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye, he felt a sense of confusion. Obviously, these stone pillars were related to the profound mysteries of space. Emperor Duanmu. A voice sounded from the array of the stone pillars. Zhao Feng looked over and was slightly surprised. There was a void god realm king sitting on top of each stone pillar. Apart from that, there was also an elder with an ancient expression sitting at the center of the array. He was an emperor. An emperor and 8 kings were guarding the spiritual zone teleportation array. Sorry for the trouble, Duan Muqing said with a smile and a gentle voice. The aged martial monarch nodded and left with a flicker. Next, Duan Muqing took out 32 peak-grade primal crystal stones and placed them into the 8 stone pillars. The spiritual zone teleportation array is to stop experts from invading. Furthermore, there's a god crystal at the center of the array. Duan Muqing explained some secrets to the 2. There were 3 spiritual sacred lands in the Tsang Ocean, True Martial, Floating Dream, and Myriad Forest. The 3 spiritual sacred lands were connected by the spiritual zone teleportation array. Zhao Feng, Duan Muqing, and Zhao Yufei headed in the same direction. After the Floating Dream spiritual zone, we'll go our separate ways. Duan Muqing and company stood at the center of the array. When on the 8 ancient bluestone pillars, a magnificent silver light burst out, enveloping the entire base of the formation platform. Duan Muqing, Zhao Feng, and Zhao Yufei's figures started to fade and disappear. Let's go. On one of the stone pillars, a dark-side king suddenly took out a command medallion and sent out a message. Right in the next instant, a shocking intent of death spread through the true martial sacred land. The strong, magnificent power of death made the hearts of some kings and emperors shake uneasily. What a strong aura of death! Some void god realm kings felt their souls become cold and uneasy. A few breaths later, in the air above the 10,000 ancient sacred peak, a figure wearing a dark golden crown stood. He was as tall as the shadow of death, ancient and profound. His pitch-black eyes were limitless like the abyss of death. Emperor of Death! The hearts of some ancient emperors within the sacred land shook as they exclaimed. When did the Emperor of Death come to the true martial sacred land? He's hidden himself really well. Waves broke out in the sacred land. The Emperor of Death was an ancient emperor of the Tsang Ocean. Master! Wen Luan bowed as he stood next to the Emperor of Death. Apart from him, the white-eyed girl, the 3 death spirit lords, and 20 to 30 death guards were also present. This lineup was enough to sweep through some 2-star sects outside the sacred land. Emperor Duanmu indeed went to the Floating Dream spiritual zone after hiding in the Thousand Darkness sacred clan for a month or 2. The Emperor of Death murmured. His voice had a kind of emptiness and coldness that could penetrate one's soul, and it stood at the peak of all living beings. Some divine senses within the sacred land trembled when they scanned over, and they felt uneasy from their souls. They didn't dare to approach. The Emperor of Death specialized in the Tao of Death. Even a wisp of divine sense could be devoured by him. Some of the kings and emperors in the sacred land had heard of the Emperor of Death. A while later, the Emperor of Death and company arrived at the spiritual zone teleportation array. Emperor of Death. The elder emperor and the 8 kings felt as if they were facing the god of death, and their lives weren't in their control. The 8 kings felt a suffocating pressure in their souls, and they couldn't look directly at the Emperor of Death. Only the elder emperor revealed wariness as he gave the Emperor of Death a deep glance. But he didn't say anything. "Senior Marshal brother, where are we going to see the scenery this time?" the white-eyed girl asked with a silly smile. "You're about to find out." When Luan took 32 peak-grade primal crystal stones from the Emperor of Death and embedded them into the 8 stone pillars. Soon, the Emperor of Death's powerful aura of death disappeared within the light of the array. In the limitless ocean, in the center of a sacred land that was comparable to the true martial sacred land. Floating Dreams Sacred Land. Zhao Feng stood on a similar array and inspected his surroundings. Floating dream clouds floated in the sacred land, and each cloud was at least 100 miles wide. Each cloud seemed to be real, and there was a 2-star sect on top of it. The Floating Dreams Sacred Land only has one 3-star sect and dozens of 2-star sections. However, the Heavenly Dreams Sacred Clan's strength is even stronger than Xianjun and Xianyu combined. Duan Muqing sighed. After arriving at the Floating Dreams Sacred Land, Duan Muqing took out a token. He was an honorary elder of a 2-star sect in the Floating Dreams Sacred Land. After arriving at the Floating Dreams Sacred Land, Duan Muqing and Zhao Yufei would continue to use the teleportation array to head to the other sacred lands near the continent zone. At that time, Duan Muqing and Zhao Yufei might leave the Tseng Ocean and reach the Nanlan Sea at the edge of the continent zone. "Big brother Zhao Feng, let's go our separate ways. Maybe the next time we meet, we'll have different identities and positions. Or maybe we'll just be strangers." Zhao Yufei bit her lips slightly. There was a trace of stubbornness on her pretty face as she forced a smile. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei stood on 2 different teleportation arrays. Before Zhao Feng could speak, Zhao Yufei had already turned around. The corners of her eyes were red and sparkling. "Strangers? Yufei," Zhao Feng murmured. His usually calm heart felt a piercing pain that he had never felt before. That feeling was similar to the experience of love in the mermaid tear crystals. It was as if he had fallen into the beautiful, or tragic love of the mermaid race. In his field of vision, Zhao Yufei seemed thin and frail, lonely and helpless. As Zhao Feng gazed at that familiar figure, he felt a slight struggle in his heart. He had an urge to rush forward and grab her tightly. "Meow meow!" The little thieving cat jumped onto Zhao Feng's shoulder and threw a few copper coins with its paws as it urged. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly as he took out several peak-grade primal crystal stones. Before leaving, Zhao Feng had used a large amount of resources to trade for a small amount of peak-grade primal crystal stones. Meow! The little thieving cat nimbly placed the 8 primal crystal stones into the array. When Zhao Feng was enveloped in the light of the array. "Yufei, we'll meet again in the future." Zhao Feng's decisive voice passed through the soul. The last scene. Zhao Yufei's stubborn figure didn't turn around. Her body trembled slightly. "Yufei, we're parting so that we can meet again. The Lord Dynasty is the true stage of the world. With Zhao Feng's potential, he'll come to the continent zone sooner or later." The purple Saint Partial Spirit's voice sounded. Soon, Duan Muqing and Zhao Yufei also disappeared in the light of the formation. Several breaths later, the Spirit Zone teleportation formation flashed with dazzling light. Immediately after, a terrifying aura of death surged toward them. The expressions of the experts guarding the Spiritual Zone teleportation array changed dramatically. The Emperor of Death's group appeared in the Spiritual Zone teleportation array. On the field, there was dead silence. "They left?" the Emperor of Death murmured as his eyes of death locked onto a king. "Arg, The king's soul consciousness seemed to be restricted, and he couldn't even struggle or speak. "Where did that purple-haired male go?" Wen Luan asked warmly. He went to the Sky Flower Zone." The Void God Realm King stuttered as he looked at the Emperor of Death uneasily. The Emperor of Death's name was a nightmare that covered the entire Sun Ocean. "Follow." The Emperor of Death and company instantly activated the Spiritual Zone teleportation array and disappeared into the array. "Emperor of Death! That terrifying guy actually came to the Floating Dreams Sacred Land. Who knows what kind of storm he'll create?" the kings said with fear in their hearts. A while later, the Emperor of Death's group appeared within the Sky Flower Void Ocean Spiritual Palace. Shwa! An aura of death filled the entire Void Ocean Spiritual Palace. In that instant, the giant Void Ocean Spiritual Palace seemed to be covered by the shadow of death. All the experts froze as if they were petrified. What a huge move! Master used the power of death to seal the entire Void Ocean Spiritual Palace. Chapter 690. Sky Flower Island Zone, Void Ocean Spiritual Palace. The large spiritual palace was deathly silent, and the bodies of countless experts froze. The shadow of death covered all living beings. The Sky Flower Void Ocean Spiritual Palace Lord was a Void God Realm King, and his heart trembled uneasily. "Emperor of Death!" The Sky Flower Palace Lord held his breath and ordered the other enforcers not to act recklessly. From the looks of it, the Emperor of Death seemed to be searching for someone. At the same time, the divine senses of the three Death Spirit Lords also searched the surroundings. One of the Death Spirit Lords even used the soul-searching technique to investigate the enforcers near the Spirit Zone formation. "He's so fast," the Emperor of Death murmured. His intent of death spread across the entire Void Ocean Spiritual Palace, but he couldn't find any traces of Zhao Feng. Reporting to Emperor, Zhao Feng seemed to have a feeling that he used the wings of wind and lightning to enter the limitless ocean after arriving at the Spiritual Palace. The Death Spirit Lord said respectfully. He had used the soul-searching technique to find traces of Zhao Feng. The Emperor of Death closed his eyes and spread his divine sense. The Void Ocean Spiritual Palace was the center. 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles. The senses of emperors were limitless, and they could roam the universe. A few breaths later, the Emperor of Death's divine sense scanned everything within 10,000 miles, but he could only sense a few faint auras of wind and lightning lingering in the air, trying to destroy them. "We can't even sense Zhao Feng's presence." Wen Luan and the Death Guards held their token of death, but there were no signs. Their target seemed to have disappeared into thin air. The Emperor of Death stood on the spot like a towering figure of the God of Death. His divine sense reached 10,000 miles and searched for where the wisp of wind lightning had gone. His eyebrows suddenly furrowed. That wisp of residual wind and lightning aura suddenly split into more than a dozen strands and fled in different directions. As the distance grew further, the Emperor of Death's divine sense wasn't precise enough. In the limitless ocean, all auras would be assimilated. Cunning brat! The Emperor of Death's eyes were as cold as an abyss. "Master, what do we do now?" Wen Luan asked. Zhao Feng's reaction was simply too fast. The speed of his lightning wings surpassed normal kings. "Follow these directions." The Emperor of Death extended his hand and a map appeared in front of him. The map displayed the map of the Floating Dreams Sacred Land and quickly showed the area around the Sky Flower Cluster Zone. The Emperor of Death was able to roughly determine the direction that Zhao Feng was running in based on the aura of wind lightning. The Emperor of Death's bloodline was split into 5 teams. The Emperor of Death and the White-Eyed Girl formed a team. Wen Luan led a team of Death Guards to form a team. The 3 Death Spirit Lords each led a team. The 5 teams chased after him in a general direction. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Emperor of Death and company soon disappeared from the Void Ocean Spiritual Palace. Who? It was only then that the Tianhua Temple leader and the many geniuses who were passing by heaved a sigh of relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Tianhua Island Zone, somewhere in the sea of void. Thunder wings, wind flash! A faint red shadow of lightning wings swept across the limitless ocean like a bolt of lightning. Those below the half-step void god realm wouldn't even be able to see the outline of the shadow. What speed! In the nearby area, there were occasionally a few outer realm experts, or ships that were traveling in the void. All of them were frightened. The speed and aura of the lightning wings were several times that of a king. The thunder wings wind flash was a secret technique of the wings of wind and lightning, and it pushed the speed of wind and lightning to the extreme. Bam! Bam! The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back fluttered rapidly, and he was like a bolt of lightning. His current speed surpassed normal void god realm kings. However, using the thunder wings wind flash also expended a lot of energy. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng slowed down, and his figure blurred as he turned into 10 flashes of lightning. Each of them contained a wisp of his king intent, and their aura was the same as Zhao Feng's. Whoosh! 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 These flashes of lightning flew in different directions, but it was hard to tell which one was real and which one was fake. Every 10,000 miles, Zhao Feng would split into several flashes of lightning. He estimated that each flashes of lightning could last for an hour. After all, these flashes of lightning had merged with Zhao Feng's king intent. While flying, Zhao Feng sealed the soul's sea world to a certain degree. The Eye of Death intent was sealed off by his Eye Soul power and the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique. That was correct. The Emperor of Death and company would find it hard to sense where Zhao Feng was. As long as I don't use any soul-type secret techniques or eye bloodline, the Emperor of Death and company won't be able to sense me, Zhao Feng murmured in his heart. At the end, he didn't even use his king intent or divine sense. Meow meow! The little thieving cat clung to his shoulder, its obsidian eyes occasionally turning and pointing in a direction. Back in the floating dream spiritual zone, it was because of the little thieving cat's divination that Zhao Feng was able to move as fast as possible and escape the Emperor of Death's pursuit. Lightning wings wind flash. The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back fluttered as he flashed across the limitless ocean like a bolt of lightning. Not only was Zhao Feng fast, but he would also create several fake bodies with the same aura every time he flew. This way, it would be very difficult to track him through auras. Bai Lin. The Emperor of Death looked at the white-eyed girl next to him. The white-eyed girl had the Eye of Destiny. Although her eye bloodline wasn't very awakened, her ability to grasp destiny surpassed normal experts. This was also why the Emperor of Death had brought the white-eyed girl along. The white-eyed girl bit her finger and took out a brush as she looked at the blank piece of paper with furrowed eyebrows. After a long time, the white-eyed girl's face was pale white as she painstakingly drew a blurry musical instrument on the white paper. Qin? The Emperor of Death recognized the musical instrument. It was a qin. After drawing it, the white-eyed girl fell into a deep sleep. This time, the difficulty of grasping destiny was much greater than before. The stronger the target, the harder it was. Apart from that, the amount of information also affected the difficulty of grasping destiny. Qin! The Emperor of Death murmured as he thought for a long time. Qin was a musical instrument, and it represented a clue. However, the problem was that this clue was too abstract. Did the zither represent the instrument itself, a person, or something else? Following this lead, the Emperor of Death continued to search, and he also ordered people to gather more information about the qin. In the dusky sea of fog, a small to medium-sized void ship covered in a thick layer of death corpse energy flew through the air. That layer of death in corpse chi blocked off the senses of anyone below half-step king realm. Pirate ship? The Corrupt Path's ghost corpse ship? The nearby ships and experts from the outer realms would all go around them. The ghost corpse ship's aura was terrifying. Even some pirate ships and large sex ships didn't dare to provoke them. Several days passed. The ghost ship was safe and sound. Zhao Feng's energy had long since recovered. During this time, he entered the ancient dream realm several times and brought out large amounts of flesh and blood to nurture the 100 corpse curse. The flesh and blood of the corpses in the ancient dream realm had a shocking effect on the cursed ghost corpses. On this day, the skeletal division leader's voice trembled with excitement. "Master, the 100 cursed ghost corpses have all become sovereigns." Hearing that, Zhao Feng revealed a joyful expression. "Shua!" The skeletal division leader took out a sovereign cursed ghost corpse. The cursed ghost corpse was 3 zhang tall, and its body was emitting a primordial corpse aura. The curse power it emitted was 10 times stronger than before. "It's even stronger than I imagined." Zhao Feng estimated that these sovereign cursed ghost corpses were almost unrivaled in the small origin core realm, and they could even challenge sovereign lords. Even sovereign lords would be in trouble if they were touched by the cursed ghost corpses. The array formed by 100 of these ghost corpses wasn't as simple as adding 1 to 100. The bodies of these ghost corpses are extremely strong, and they contain the aura from before. The child demigod's eyes flashed as he stared at the ghost corpse. He had long since suspected that Zhao Feng had that kind of flesh and blood. In reality, 100 ghost corpses had absorbed a shocking amount of this kind of flesh and blood. The child demigod just so happened to lack this kind of flesh and blood to recover his demigod bloodline. "Let's make a deal." The child demigod's eyes twinkled as he stared at his master, Zhao Feng, with a serious expression. Chapter 691. Trade? Zhao Feng squinted his eyes as he stared at the child demigod with a childish voice. His expression was solemn, and he looked like he was only 2 or 3 years old. No one dared to underestimate the demigod Kun Yun, who had revived from a drop of blood. He. Zhao Feng couldn't help but laugh. "Maybe you've forgotten our relationship." The master and the servant didn't have an equal status. Normally speaking, a trade was based on equality. Mockery appeared in the skeletal division leader's eyes as it curiously inspected the child demigod. It didn't know much about the child demigod's background. Back in the demigod Forgotten Garden, it was suppressed by the demigod intent and magnificent power of heaven and earth, so it didn't have a chance to come out. Of course, it didn't dare to underestimate the child. This child was only 3 years old, but his cultivation had reached the late-stage Great Origin Core realm and was on par with its master, Zhao Feng. No matter how stupid the skeletal division leader was, it wouldn't treat him like a child. "I'm a demigod. Therefore, I have the right. Furthermore, you probably won't be able to reject my offer," the child demigod said proudly. Even if he was a servant, and his life was threatened, he still had the pride of a demigod. "Demigod!" The skeletal division leader was stunned as it stared at the golden-skinned child. Zhao Feng had revived a demigod and taken him as a servant? This was insane. Compared to a demigod, the Scarlet Moon Patriarch and the Emperor of Death weren't even worth mentioning. "The prerequisite is that your offer can truly attract me." Zhao Feng didn't reject it. He knew that the child demigod had recovered many of his memories as he recovered. "First, I have a way to help Master increase the success rate of absorbing the divine tribulation lightning," the child demigod said. God tribulation lightning. A light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. The God tribulation lightning was a supreme power of heaven and earth that countered all beings in heaven and earth. If he could absorb some wisps of the God tribulation lightning, Zhao Feng's strength would increase dramatically. There was one more thing. Comprehending the power of the lightning tribulation would be of great help when facing the deity tribulation in the future. "In the depths of my memory, there is a set of thunderization divine art. Although it is incomplete, it is a supreme divine art that surpasses the 5-elemental myriad lightning technique and the lightning guiding sword art. In my previous life, when I was at my peak, I cultivated this technique to increase my resistance towards the lightning tribulation, and it had a certain effect," the child demigod explained. Thunderization divine art. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. He had inherited the wind lightning inheritance, so he had heard of the legendary lightning transformation divine art. It was said that this cultivation art was created by some powerful beings in ancient times to resist the heavenly tribulation. The thunderization divine art was even more effective against the lightning tribulation divine power. No wonder that demigod was able to leave behind an intact corpse and absorb a lot of the god tribulation lightning. Zhao Feng believed most of it. He had the wind lightning inheritance, and the 5-elemental myriad lightning art. He was already an expert in the lightning Tao, so the thunderization divine art wouldn't be able to fool him. Secondly, it's very difficult for the divine tribulation lightning to be compatible with the other true yuan in the body, including lightning. The best way is to let the body absorb it. This is the mistake that Master made. The child demigod smiled. When Zhao Feng heard this, he felt as if he had been enlightened. No wonder he was met with resistance when he tried to absorb the god tribulation lightning. The god tribulation lightning was the god punishment lightning of heaven and earth, and it reigned above all other powers in heaven and earth. Think about it, how could this power be compatible with other true yuan or lightning? The child demigod pointed out the truth. The best way is to let the body absorb the god tribulation lightning. My core is filled with the power of wind lightning, so it can't be compatible with it. Zhao Feng soon understood. Normal bodies can't absorb the power of god tribulation lightning. This requires a very profound body strengthening technique. The child demigod said proudly. Body strengthening technique. Zhao Feng understood and gave the child demigod a deep glance. The demigod Kun Yun specialized in body strengthening when he was alive, so he obviously had a strong body strengthening technique. Fine, tell me what you want. Zhao Feng decided to make a deal with the child demigod. Both the lightning transformation divine technique and the body strengthening technique were in the hands of the demigod Kun Yun. Otherwise, even with the demigod head, it would be hard for Zhao Feng to absorb the power of god tribulation lightning. I want the flesh from before, and I need a lot of it. The child demigod glanced at the cursed ghost corpse. The cursed ghost corpse couldn't hide from the child demigod after absorbing the power of the flesh from the ancient dream realm. How much do you want? Lao Feng's expression didn't change. 10,000 kilograms, no bargaining. The child demigod said. 10,000 kilograms? Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. If he wanted to obtain 10,000 kilograms, he would have to kill some of the bigger animals in the ancient dream realm. My chips are definitely worth this price, the child demigod said firmly. He could already tell that Zhao Feng definitely had a large amount of such flesh. The 100 cursed ghost corpse was an example. Zhao Feng had put at least 1,000 or 2,000 kilograms into the 100 cursed ghost corpse. Okay. Zhao Feng nodded his head. But the prerequisite is that you need to ensure that the chips are real. Although 10,000 kilograms was a lot, it would only increase the child demigod's strength until he reached the void god realm. The more he used it, the less effective it would be. This was the same as how Zhao Feng used the aura of the ancient dream realm. I swear on the name of the god tribulation that I won't do anything to the chips, the child demigod said solemnly. Zhao Feng was very satisfied and nodded his head. In his previous life, the child demigod had died from the god tribulation. This power had already left a shadow in his heart. At the same time, the power of the god tribulation was related to the laws of heaven and earth. The child demigod definitely wouldn't joke about this. From this, the child demigod was indeed sincere in making this deal. Or maybe he had something else to rely on, and wasn't afraid of Zhao Feng getting his hands on the chips. In order to prove my sincerity, I'll give you the lightning transformation divine technique first, the child demigod said. Zhao Feng was very surprised. Was the child demigod really that sincere? He didn't think too much about it, and received the information from the child demigod. Soon, a fragmented divine technique appeared in Zhao Feng's mind, the lightning transformation divine technique. Lightning transformation divine technique, a heaven-defying technique created by an ancient saint to absorb the power of lightning in order to fight against the god tribulation. The fragmented technique didn't contain much information. It wasn't like the wind lightning inheritance, or the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique, which had a complete system. Simply put, it was a set of techniques, but it had very high requirements for comprehension and soul realm. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and tried to cultivate it. He found that although there wasn't much information, the difficulty of cultivating it wasn't low. Luckily, he had the 10,000 divine thoughts technique as a foundation, and the God's spiritual eyes analysis and comprehension were strong. "I'll give you 5,000 kilograms of meat in a few days." Zhao Feng opened his eyes. The child demigod tried to hide the joy in his eyes. For the next few days, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged on the ground and seemed to be cultivating. His consciousness remained in the Soul Sea world. Zhao Feng's aura was sealed in the Soul Sea world, so he couldn't use his soul power easily. However, this didn't stop him from comprehending and analyzing in the Soul Sea world. Shwa! With a thought, Zhao Feng entered the ancient dream realm once more. Next to the river, Zhao Feng started to kill some herbivores that weren't aggressive, such as cows and goats. In order to increase his efficiency, Zhao Feng took out the sky-locking bow. The power of the sky-locking bow was greatly suppressed in the ancient dream realm. However, the sky-locking bow could still attack from 10 to 20 yards away. Screech! Zhao Feng gripped the dark silver bow and slowly pulled back the bowstring as he merged his eye intent into it. When in an instant, the hollowed inscriptions on the ancient bow shone with a silver luster, like three-dimensional patterns. They were like living tadpoles that lingered around the entire bow. At the same time, a cold and slender, golden arrow appeared on the bowstring. At the level of the sky-locking bow, there was no need for arrows. It could automatically condense an arrow of light. As long as one had enough power, the sky-locking bow could, in theory, shoot without limit. This was like a gun that had an unlimited number of bullets. One whoosh! Gold and silver light intertwined on the sky-locking bow. The golden arrow of light carried a sharp aura that could pierce through the void. Accompanied by a silver line, it flashed through the air. Whoosh! The golden arrow of light flashed in the air, and the next time it appeared, it pierced through the head of a deer that was drinking water. What power! Zhao Feng's mouth gaped open in surprise. In order to hide this killing move, he hadn't used the bow yet. The physical defense of the beings in the ancient dream realm was extremely strong. If Zhao Feng wanted to kill a deer or a goat, he would need to spend some effort. However, the sky-locking bow was able to kill them in one shot. That's good. I can use this bow in the ancient dream realm to train in all kinds of eye bloodline techniques. Zhao Feng was extremely excited. He immediately went over and put away the deer's corpse, clearing its aura so that it wouldn't attract the attention of other carnivores. 2 days later, Zhao Feng mainly used the sky-locking bow to kill larger carnivores. However, the sky-locking bow used a lot of true yuan and soul power. Zhao Feng only shot 4 or 5 arrows each day, and each arrow was a sure kill. The target locked onto by the sky-locking bow had no chance of dodging. This bow had the ability to pierce through space and even lock onto one's soul, making it impossible to dodge. It was in line with its name of heaven locking. 4 days later, in the captain's room, Zhao Feng summoned the child demigod. Here's 5,000 kilograms of meat. Zhao Feng took out an interspatial bag and handed it to the child demigod. The child demigod revealed a joyful expression as he took the interspatial bag and glanced over it. Master, this is the peerless body strengthening technique I used in my previous life, the Golden Kun Sacred Body. Even in the continent zone, it's one of the top body strengthening techniques. The child demigod was very straightforward and handed a unique golden pearl of blood to Zhao Feng. This golden pearl of blood was formed from the child demigod's flesh and blood. Zhao Feng received the golden pearl of blood suspiciously. He faintly guessed that this kind of inheritance was probably carried on by the bloodline. However, Zhao Feng was still surprised that he could obtain the strongest body-strengthening technique of a demigod so easily. Mockery flashed through the child demigod's eyes. The Golden Kun sacred body he traded was indeed real, but he wasn't worried about it falling into Zhao Feng's hands. Chapter 692. Just like that. Zhao Feng and the child demigod had successfully completed their first transaction. This was too easy for Zhao Feng. He didn't pay a big price to obtain the lightning transformation divine technique and the golden Kuan's sacred body. The golden Kuan's sacred body was the strongest body strengthening technique that the demigod had when he was alive. Master, let me remind you that God Tribulation Lightning is the scariest source of power in the world and is extremely hard to absorb. You must cultivate the golden Kuan's sacred body to the 6th level before you can absorb the power of God Tribulation Lightning through the lightning transformation divine technique. The child demigod said. The 6th level? Before Zhao Feng could react, the child demigod went back into the ancient metal ring and didn't appear again. In a certain corner of the ancient metal ring, Zhizhi, if I can cultivate the golden Kuan's sacred body to the 6th level, I'll be able to fight against sacred lords. The child demigod had a smug expression. Apart from fortune, any technique or inheritance needed a lot of time and effort to reach the level of an emperor or sacred lord. Compared to ordinary cultivation techniques, body tempering cultivation techniques were at least 10 times more difficult to cultivate. Furthermore, the golden Kuan's sacred body wasn't something that just anyone could cultivate. Within the captain's room, Zhao Feng sat down cross-legged and covered the golden drop of blood with his true yuan. Soon, the golden drop of blood merged into Zhao Feng's body. The golden Kuan's sacred body was a body-strengthening technique that was passed down through bloodlines. The information about it was imprinted into Zhao Feng's body. A vast amount of information soon merged into Zhao Feng's body. What was special was that this sacred technique had to be comprehended and cultivated through one's own body. Soul talent wasn't very helpful to one's cultivation. Golden Kuan's sacred body, split into 7 levels. The highest level one can achieve is the body of a demigod, and one will be unparalleled against those below the heavenly divine realm. This body strengthening technique requires a peak body strengthening bloodline and talent. Zhao Feng received some basic information. Zhao Feng's expression became ugly after seeing this information. I've been tricked! Zhao Feng gritted his teeth and his face darkened. The golden Kuan's sacred body was indeed a sacred body tempering art. It was indeed worth the price. However, the requirements to cultivate this body tempering sacred art were extremely strict, and the speed of cultivation was extremely slow. First, it required top-notch body refinement bloodline aptitude to, successfully, cultivate it. As for Zhao Feng, he just so happened to not have a body refinement talent, or a bloodline. His talent was in the soul. You're going too far. Zhao Feng's first thought was to drag out the demigod Kun Yuan and torture him. But on second thought, if he did that, he would be going back on his word. After all, the golden Kuan's sacred body that the child demigod had given him wasn't fake. Cultivation technique requirements. This saint art didn't say that ordinary people couldn't cultivate it. However, there was no way to smoothly cultivate. There were bound to be many obstacles. In terms of the deal, the child demigod wasn't lying. With my body tempering talent, I won't be able to cultivate the golden Kuan's sacred body to the 6th level even if I have 1,000 years. Zhao Feng shook his head after thinking for a while. Not to mention the golden Kuan's sacred body, even the cultivation of other simple body tempering techniques would be extremely slow. Zhao Feng's talent was in the soul, and techniques like the 10,000 divine thoughts technique allowed him to progress very quickly. Therefore, Zhao Feng could only give up on the golden Kuan's sacred body for now. Thinking about it, he started to study the lightning transformation divine technique. The lightning transformation divine technique was something that Zhao Feng could cultivate. His soul, cultivation, and comprehension were all good enough. This made Zhao Feng feel slightly better. It was obvious that the child demigod had a good grasp of the situation. If Zhao Feng couldn't cultivate either of the two techniques, then he would most likely cause trouble for him. The child demigod was very smart. He could cultivate one, but he could ignore the difficulty of the other. However, Zhao Feng didn't lose his cool. If he acted too rash, the child demigod would laugh at him even more. Since body tempering isn't good, let's see if I can change the direction of my thoughts. Zhao Feng started to think. He cultivated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, so his mind was extremely sharp and could split into hundreds of thoughts. Firstly, Zhao Feng first eliminated the possibility of relying on the Golden Kun's sacred technique. He knew there was definitely a way to increase the speed of cultivating the Golden Kun's sacred technique, or to help him absorb the God Tribulation lightning before reaching the 6th level. For example, he could absorb the aura of the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng analyzed that with this, he might not even need to reach the 6th level to cultivate the Golden Kun's sacred body. He might even be able to absorb the God Tribulation lightning and use it to refine his body. What a pity! If I could cultivate from the beginning and use the aura of the ancient dream realm along with the Golden Kun's sacred technique to absorb the God Tribulation lightning and refine my body. Zhao Feng felt slightly regretful. Once this plan succeeded, he would be able to cultivate the God Tribulation lightning's sacred body. However, Zhao Feng didn't have the time to cultivate from the beginning. He was currently being chased by the Emperor of Death, so he needed to increase his strength in a short amount of time. A while later. Got it. Zhao Feng found a glimmer of light in the lightning transformation divine technique. In the thunderization divine art, there was a description of the divine tribulation lightning. The power of the God Tribulation lightning didn't just target the physical body, it could also attack the soul of cultivators. Some cultivators didn't have a strong enough soul, so it didn't matter how strong their bodies were. This might have been the reason why the demigod Kuan-Yin was defeated. After all, in terms of physical body, the demigod Kuan-Yin was almost unparalleled. The soul. Isn't that my talent? Zhao Feng's thoughts became clear. Indeed. He didn't have a top-tier bloodline when it came to body strengthening. However, his talent in the soul could be said to be unique in the world. At least until now. Zhao Feng still hadn't seen anyone that could surpass him in terms of talent in the soul. Since my physical body can't handle the power of the God Tribulation lightning, then, what about my soul? A crazy and bold thought appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Even the demigod Kuan-Yin didn't dare to think about absorbing the power of the God Tribulation lightning with his soul. Because the soul was a forbidden area. It was extremely dangerous, and at the same time, very unorthodox. The power of the God Tribulation lightning isn't purely physical or soul attacks. Since my physical body is strong, I can absorb it. Why can't I absorb it with my soul? Zhao Feng felt that it was possible. However, even the lightning transformation divine technique didn't mention absorbing the power of the God Tribulation lightning with the soul. This way, Zhao Feng had to think of a way to copy how his physical body absorbed the power of the God Tribulation lightning to the soul. The God's spiritual eye was the best at copying things. Within the soul sea, Zhao Feng's consciousness split into several parts as he comprehended the lightning transformation divine technique and started to analyze it. After several days of analysis, this way of thinking is completely possible. Zhao Feng became more and more excited. Think about it. If he absorbed the power of the God Tribulation lightning into his soul and used his eye bloodline technique, he would be able to send the power of the God Tribulation lightning straight into the opponent's soul. Ha ha ha! Even the soul of an emperor might not be able to withstand the power of the God Tribulation lightning. Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng almost laughed out loud. This way of thinking was crazy and daring, but the result of success would topple the world. Furthermore, once Zhao Feng's soul sea could absorb the power of the God Tribulation lightning, he could use it to refine his body in the future. At that time, Zhao Feng also had a chance of using the God Tribulation lightning to refine his body and the Golden Kun's sacred body. Perfect! Perfect! Zhao Feng had the urge to slap the table. Of course! Chapter 693. Success. Zhao Feng looked at the floating demigod head in the dimension of his left eye. At the same time, his left eye and purple hair quickly dimmed and returned to their normal color. In order to complete that crazy idea, he had taken a risk by using spatial movement and releasing a wisp of eye bloodline power. This would increase the danger of the pursuit of death. However, this risk was worth it. The pursuit of death was either one of them dying, or the other dying. Zhao Feng needed to increase his strength in order to survive this battle and even have a chance to turn the tables on them. Luckily, the ghost ship traveled for more than half a month in the limitless ocean and left the Sky Hua Tian Void Ocean's spiritual palace. Zhao Feng's eye of death intent had greatly reduced the sensitivity of the pursuit of death. He had also made all kinds of preparations, such as letting the ship sink into the depths of the ocean and opening the ghost corpse cursed array. All of this was to reduce the sensitivity of the pursuit of death. Unless he was extremely unlucky, the pursuit of death would be very close. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so easy to create problems in the short moment just now. Right now, the demigod head is on the same level as my soul sea, so it's easier for me to absorb it. Zhao Feng closed his eyes. The dimension of his left eye was pitch black. In the middle, there was 1,000 yards of purple mist. This was Zhao Feng's soul sea. The demigod head floated in the pitch black area. Zhao Feng had sealed off the aura of his soul in this area. In this enclosed environment, Zhao Feng didn't need to worry and could use the heart soul. Zhao Feng released a thought. A surge of eye intent enveloped the demigod head. In the dimension of his left eye, the aura of the demigod head seemed to be restricted. This was very beneficial for Zhao Feng. Otherwise, just the aura of the demigod head alone was enough to make the hearts of all beings tremble. Shwa! The demigod head was taken to the edge of the soul sea by eye intent. Zhao Feng nodded his head. The preparations had gone better than expected. Now, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power could touch the head of the demigod god at a very close distance. Immediately after, Zhao Feng further analyzed the thunderization divine art and completed the absorption process. The thunderization divine incantation absorbed lightning power into one's body or dantian. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, wanted to absorb the power of the tribulation lightning into his soul. Zhao Feng had already completed the outline of the relevant ideas. After that, it was time to concretize and perfect the outline of the idea in practice. This required Zhao Feng's deduction to perfect it. Thanks to the god's spiritual eye and the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, Zhao Feng's analysis and deduction abilities were extremely strong. He didn't need to create a secret technique out of thin air. Instead, he wanted to apply the method of absorbing lightning from the thunderization divine art to the soul level. 7 days later, the outline of Zhao Feng's soul version of the thunderization divine art became clearer and clearer. The next step of perfecting it is to put it into practice. Zhao Feng was looking forward to it. Practice was the truth. Zhao Feng wanted to figure out how to absorb God tribulation lightning through practice. Start! Zhao Feng focused and circulated the thunderization divine art with his eye intent. Whoosh! 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 His eye intent formed wisps of faint purple soul power into a small spiral. This spiral was extremely gentle. It was like a small straw that spun and emitted an attractive force. The first purple spiral touched the head of the god tribulation. Even a small part of the spiral merged into the head of the god tribulation. After all, the spiral was soul power. Boom! Zhao Feng's consciousness shook as if it had been struck by 10,000 bolts of lightning. A strong numbing feeling spread throughout his body. Whoosh! The power of the god tribulation lightning quickly shattered the spiral. Zhao Feng's purple soul sea shook slightly. The situation is much better than I thought, Zhao Feng said in a deep tone. His soul power wasn't affected by the power of the God Tribulation lightning. Instead, a wisp of the power of the God Tribulation lightning spread through his soul. Even though the ripples of the God Tribulation lightning were so small that they could be ignored. In the dimension of his left eye, the head of the God Tribulation seemed to be suppressed, and its aura was much more obedient. Otherwise, ordinary soul strength would be shaken to the point of dispersing upon contact with the power of the lightning tribulation. My eye intent and soul sea are strong enough. I can handle the ripples of this level. Zhao Feng relaxed. Then, he used his eye intent to control the two spirals and merge them into the head of the god tribulation. Boom, boom, boom. Boom! Zhao Feng's consciousness shook as the current from the power of the God Tribulation lightning spread into his purple soul sea. The purple soul sea started to tremble slightly. Zhao Feng felt that his purple soul sea was being baptized by the ripples of the God Tribulation lightning. In the dark, his purple soul sea had also been slightly cleansed. His purple soul sea even absorbed an imperceptible particle of the power of the God Tribulation lightning. The particle of the God Tribulation lightning was so small that it could be ignored. However, this made Zhao Feng overjoyed. My train of thought is completely feasible. Zhao Feng's experiment went much smoother than he had imagined. The main reason was that the power of the God Tribulation lightning was very obedient in the dimension of his left eye and didn't attack him. Next, Zhao Feng needed to perfect the soul-based version of the lightning transformation divine technique and increase the rate at which he absorbed the particle of the God Tribulation lightning. According to the previous speed, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to absorb a single wisp of the God Tribulation lightning even after half a year. Half a day later, Zhao Feng's eye intent controlled more than a dozen small spirals that wrapped around the head of the God Tribulation. Boom! The fierce rumbling of the lightning caused Zhao Feng's consciousness to feel dizzy and shaken. He gritted his teeth and used his eye intent to block the dizzying lightning while using more soul power to maintain the spirals. This way, Zhao Feng's absorption rate increased by more than a dozen times. Of course, the consumption of his soul power also increased by more than a dozen times. He needed to maintain the spirals at all times. If he paused for even a second, the power of the God Tribulation lightning would shatter them. Luckily, my God's spiritual eye evolved last time, and my soul has also formed eye intent. Zhao Feng felt lucky. If it weren't for the fact that his soul power intent surpassed normal kings and the God Tribulation lightning was suppressed in the dimension of his left eye, it wouldn't have been realistic for his soul to absorb the power of the God Tribulation lightning. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Zhao Feng's soul sea successfully absorbed a wisp of the God Tribulation lightning. However, the wisp of God Tribulation lightning was extremely thin, and it merged into his purple soul sea. It was like a drop of blood fell into the pond, completely inconspicuous. Zhao Feng could only feel the existence of the wisp of God Tribulation lightning, but he wasn't able to use it right now. However, this didn't stop him from comprehending the power of the God Tribulation lightning. I can comprehend this wisp of God Tribulation lightning whenever I want, and it's 100 times deeper than normal. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. While absorbing the power of the God Tribulation lightning, his eye intent and soul were both strengthened. When he absorbed more God Tribulation lightning, Zhao Feng's soul attacks and eye intent might contain the element of the God Tribulation lightning. Right now, what Zhao Feng needed to do was absorb more God Tribulation lightning and comprehend its intent. As time passed, Zhao Feng's soul power was able to withstand the shockwaves of the God Tribulation lightning. This was because his soul power contained the aura of the God Tribulation lightning. The purple spirals were no longer easily shattered by the power of the God Tribulation lightning. The more time passed, the faster Zhao Feng would be able to absorb and comprehend the power of the God Tribulation lightning. If this continues, my soul will be able to catch up to the level of an emperor in 1 or 2 years. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. The power of the God Tribulation lightning surpassed all other powers. It could even kill peak sacred lords and demigods. From this, one could see how strong it was. Although the amount of God Tribulation lightning Zhao Feng had absorbed wasn't even 1/10,000th of a single bolt of God Tribulation lightning, it was extremely beneficial to his soul. Demigod Kun Yun, just you wait. I'll give you a big surprise. A confident smile formed on Zhao Feng's face. According to the child demigod's thoughts, if Zhao Feng wanted to cultivate the Golden Kun's sacred body and absorb the power of lightning with his body, he might not be able to do it even in a few thousand years. On the other hand, Zhao Feng didn't stick to the traditional way of thinking and changed his way of thinking. He switched the method of forming lightning to the soul that he was most proficient in. On this day, Zhao Feng's consciousness split into several parts. The first part was to wear down the Eye of Death intent. The second part was to absorb the power of the god Tribulation Lightning. The third part was to comprehend the intent of the god Tribulation Lightning. The god Tribulation Lightning was also a type of power. When this power was imprinted into one's soul, it would be much easier to comprehend it, and the success rate would increase by more than 100-fold. Zhao Feng's goal was to integrate the lightning tribulation's profundities into the wind lightning inheritance. The wind and thunder inheritance was the pinnacle of attack and speed. Its might was already astonishing. If the profound of the lightning tribulation were to be infused into it, the might of the lightning tribulation would multiply. After being baptized by the aftermath of the lightning tribulation, Zhao Feng's comprehension of the profound had already touched the surface. Pong! In Zhao Feng's palm, a throbbing crimson wind thunder appeared, containing a faint immortal and indestructible thunder tribulation aura. Of course, this aura was less than 1/10,000th of the Scarlet Tempest. If it weren't for Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye and the unique aura of the lightning tribulation, he wouldn't have been able to sense it. Success! All I need now is time. Zhao Feng's eyes flickered. As long as he had a few years, he would be able to merge the God Tribulation Lightning Eye intent and the Wind Lightning inheritance into it, and he would be able to dominate the three spirit zones of the Sun Ocean. The Sea of Void. The ghost ship traveled at a fast and steady speed through the misty sea. Master, someone seems to have their eyes on our ship, the Skeletal Division leader suddenly said. The limitless ocean in front of them was abnormally silent, and there was an aura of blood. There weren't many sea race life forms here. What's going on? Zhao Feng didn't use his divine sense to let the Skeletal Division leader search. The child demigod was also pulled out by Zhao Feng. We seem to have been targeted by a legendary pirate ship. The child demigod spread out his senses. The sound of flying came from the back of the ghost ship, and a fierce and hostile aura lingered. Legendary pirate ship? Where is this place? A map appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. 10,000 Abyss Islands Zone. 18 Corners Canyon, what a complicated terrain. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. So, it's the famous pirate sacred land of the Sun Ocean. The child demigod had a weird expression. Chapter 694. Pirate Sacred Land? Zhao Feng and the Skeletal Division leader both had weird expressions. In the Void Sea, void pirates were a bandit profession that Sea Kong found strange. On the way, the ghost ship met some other pirate ships, but they didn't dare to attack because of the ghost ship's aura. However, it was a little unbelievable for the void pirates to give birth to an existence that was revered as a sacred land. Is that so? Doesn't that mean we'll meet a lot of pirates? Zhao Feng couldn't help but lick his lips. After leaving the demigod Forgotten Garden, Zhao Feng's strength had increased by leaps and bounds, and he had learned many secret techniques. However, he didn't have many opportunities to fight. Excitement appeared in the Skeletal Division leader's eyes. The ghost corpse formation that he had mastered was many times more powerful than in the past. The 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land isn't a place that can be easily offended. The pirate kings here are all Void God Realm kings. Not only that, but the pirate fleets here will also kill each other and give birth to a pirate emperor, the child demigod said. Hearing that, Zhao Feng and the Skeletal Division leader couldn't help but stop underestimating the 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land. Of course, there's also a unique inheritance here, the Pirate Emperor inheritance. The child demigod paused for a moment. Pirate Emperor inheritance? Zhao Feng felt even weirder. Tens of thousands of years ago, there was a pirate emperor whose battle power reigned supreme and destroyed several two-star sections. In the end, it was the Floating Dreams Sacred Land that barely managed to defeat him. Before he died, the legendary pirate emperor used all his treasures to leave behind the Pirate Emperor inheritance. From then on, the throne of the pirate emperor was passed down for generations. The child demigod sighed. He had a playful expression as he looked at Zhao Feng and the Skeletal Division leader, whose expressions were gradually becoming solemn. The 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land had a complicated terrain and was filled with pirates. This was the sacred land of the pirates. Every pirate king was at the king level. The forces of many pirate kings fought and killed each other, competing for the position of the supreme pirate emperor. Whoosh! Right as Zhao Feng was learning more about the pirate sacred land, the sound of flying appeared from behind. Immediately after, a 300-meter-long blood-colored sailboat, with skeletons and whale skins hanging on it, flew over in a blood-colored storm. The blood-colored sailboat was a legendary pirate ship. Its speed was on par with Zhao Feng's ghost ship, but its size and performance were several times greater. "The ship in front, why aren't you surrendering and being interrogated?" A cold and overbearing voice sounded. As soon as he finished speaking, the divine senses of a few half-stepped kings descended upon the ghost ship with a mighty power. Buzz! The ghost ship's speed slowed down. 3 half-stepped kings have comprehended a few strands of worldly power. Zhao Feng was slightly moved. He and the child demigod weren't affected much. The skeletal division leader felt slightly nervous and pressured. "There seems to be another king's divine sense," the child demigod said casually. At the same time, on the blood-red sailboat 100 miles away. Strange. A skinny man with blood-colored hair sat on a throne. His eyes were like an eagle's, and he had a strange expression on his face. His king-level divine sense scanned over the ghost ship. He saw a skeleton, a 2-year-old child, and a youth with a mysterious aura. The child's voice was childish, but he found his king-level divine sense. "This ship isn't simple." The blood-colored hair king stopped underestimating it. Being one of the pirate kings of the 18 Corners Canyon, he was experienced and cautious. Boom! With a thought, a blood-colored light dyed the air. The ghost ship 100 miles away was locked in place by the magnificent power of a king, and it couldn't move even if it tried. This was the power of a void god realm king. Everyone below the king level was an ant. "Master, what do we do?" The skeletal division leader's breathing quickened as it started to panic. He originally thought that it was some ordinary pirate ship, and the captain's strength was at most a supremacy. Half-step king would be the limit. However, this was the pirate sacred land. "It's a bit troublesome." Zhao Feng's gaze landed on the child demigod. The child demigod hiccuped. "And how about this? Little Kun Yun, I'll promote you to the captain of the ghost ship's guards," Zhao Feng said with a smile that wasn't a smile. "Captain of the guards?" The child demigod almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhao Feng wanted to use him as a free bodyguard, but there was nothing he could do. Since they were master and servant, the child demigod could only step forward. "Pirates, if you know what's good for you, then fuck off," the child demigod said in a childish voice. Whoosh! 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 A half-step king's captain led a group of venerables and venerables to attack. Looking at the threatening appearance of the 2 to 3-year-old child, the pirates were all startled. The pirates immediately laughed. "Ha! A kid whose hair hasn't even grown out yet. Hee hee, such a cute kid. I don't even have the heart to kill him." The female pirates had playful expressions. Although they were joking, they could tell that this kid wasn't simple. Anyone below the true spirit realm would find it hard to survive in the limitless ocean. Furthermore, he was only 2 or 3 years old. "Let's rob the ship first," a half-step king ordered. So. The weakest of the pirates were at the small origin core realm, and they leaped toward the ghost ship. "Set the formation!" The skeletal division leader waved the array flag, and a thick layer of ghost corpse flames appeared that radiated a terrifying power of ghost corpses. "Be careful!" The blood-haired king's expression changed. Hoo-hoo! The thick layer of ghost corpse flame cloud instantly enveloped an area of 10 li, covering the sky and the sun. All kinds of hair-raising roars and screams could be heard. "Ah!" A few of the pirates who had charged in were touched by the ghost corpse flame cloud. They let out miserable screams and instantly turned into puddles of blood, which were devoured by the Grand Curse formation. As long as a venerable was touched by the ghost corpse flame cloud, he would definitely die. Even a supremacy would lose a layer of skin if they didn't die. Not to mention being enveloped by the power of the great curse array or being hit head-on. Hoo-hoo! The skeletal division leader's confidence increased dramatically, and it waved the array flag, causing the ghost corpse flame cloud to turn into large gray hands that turned the pirates into puddles of blood. Even my magnificent power is being corroded by the power of the curse! The blood-haired king exclaimed. The power of the ghost corpse cursed array had reached a terrifying level. It was unrivaled against those below the Void God realm, and it could even threaten Void God realm kings. At this moment, the child demigod took action. His 3-year-old body glittered with a golden light, as if he had the golden body of a diamond. Bam! The child demigod punched out, and a dominating golden fist crushed through the air. Arg! On the other side, 3 or 4 pirates were smashed into a bloody mess by a single punch. They died instantly. The child demigod's fist came from the golden Kuin's sacred body, and it contained the power of a sacred body. His simple punch pierced through the magnificent power of a king. What kind of fist technique is this? In the distance, the blood-haired king felt his magnificent power shake unstably as it was corroded by the corpse aura of resentment. All of you die! Savagery flashed through the child demigod's eyes as he turned into a golden beam of light and charged into the group of pirates. Bam! Bam! For a moment, the vast and disdainful golden fist light shook the sea. More than 10 pirates were torn to shreds like pieces of paper. His speed was just too fast. Even the half-step king was punched into the ocean by the child demigod. No one knew if he was dead or alive. Bastard! Die! The blood-haired king roared as he flew over. The magnificent power in heaven and earth made the child demigod's figure slow down. However, the child demigod was a demigod at his peak, and his golden Kuin's sacred body was one of the best techniques in the world. He used a weird footwork and punched out with extraordinary intent. The magnificent power's suppression on him was reduced by 70%. Blood purge! The blood-haired king's blood-red hair fluttered in the wind as he waved his palm. A blood-red light filled the sky with a bloodthirsty killing intent. In that instant, heaven and earth were dyed red, and the life forms of the sea race trembled as their thoughts seemed to be restricted. The ghost ship and the child demigod were all enveloped by this attack. Inconceivably, not only were the nearby pirates not injured by the blood-colored light, but they were also healed. Golden Emperor's fist. The child demigod punched out a glass-like fist that snowballed and became bigger and bigger until it was as heavy as a mountain, and the air around it seemed to be crushed by a mountain weighing thousands of kilograms. Boom! The two powerful forces clashed together. With a bam, the child demigod was sent flying half a mile away by the blood-colored light. However, the golden skin on his body was glistening as if it was forged from gold and copper, and it even emanated an ancient and primitive aura of a physique. Although he was at a disadvantage against the king, he wasn't injured. This child demigod's state of existence has reached the level of a king after using my flesh and blood. His golden Kuin's sacred body has recovered to the peak 4th level. Zhao Feng was speechless. 10,000 kilograms of the ancient dream realm flesh made the child demigod's bloodline and body even more condensed, and it gave off an ancient aura. As the two clashed, the nearby pirates were crushed by the shockwaves of the shockwaves, leaving them barely recognizable. The pirates in the distance looked at the child demigod in fear and didn't dare to get close. The Bloodhair King felt a chill down his spine. Hoo-hoo! The skeletal division leader waved the array flag and gathered the ghost corpse flames to harvest the flesh and soul of the pirates. Retreat! The blood-haired king suddenly sensed something and gave the order to retreat. The child demigod and the skeletal division leader felt weird as they watched the pirates suddenly retreat. Captain, with our strength, we don't need to fear that ghost ship. A half-step king realm leader asked in confusion. The battle for the title of Pirate Emperor that occurs once every 300 years has already begun. We still have to help the Black Shark King seize the throne of the Pirate Emperor and enter the Pirate Emperor's sacred place of inheritance. Regardless of success or failure, a new Pirate Emperor will be born soon. The blood-hair king paused for a moment. His eagle-like eyes looked toward the ghost ship in the distance. This ghost ship is extremely weird, and there's a mysterious youth inside. I can't even see through that child. Since they've entered the 18 Corners pirate sacred land, they're most likely reinforcements from one of the pirate kings. The blood-hair king had a solemn expression. At the same time, there were 3 other legendary ships within 100,000 miles of the limitless ocean. Their forces were spread out and watching the situation, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Chapter 695. The blood-haired pirate king's instincts surprised Zhao Feng. If the child demigod and the skeletal division leader couldn't handle the situation, Zhao Feng would definitely give them a heavy blow at the critical moment. However, Zhao Feng just wanted to see how strong the child demigod was. The child demigod's battle power moved Zhao Feng. The child demigod's cultivation was close to the peak Great Origin Core realm, and with the help of the ancient Dream Realm flesh and blood, his bloodline had recovered. He didn't even see the child demigod use a secret technique to fight against normal kings. Zhao Feng even suspected that the child demigod was still holding back. Of course, Zhao Feng was confident that he had absolute control over the child demigod. His soul strength surpassed normal kings, and he definitely suppressed the child demigod. On top of that, Zhao Feng's soul sea had absorbed a wisp of God tribulation lightning and was being cleansed by it. Master, what should we do from here on? Should we go around the 18 Corners pirate sacred land? The skeletal division leader asked. Zhao Feng waved his hand, and a faint blue map appeared in front of him. On the map was the 18 Corners pirate sacred land of the 10,000 Abyss Islands zone. The terrain here was extremely complicated and unique. The 18 Corners pirate sacred land had many mini-zones similar to the 8 Desolate Mountain. The 18 Corners represented 18 mini-zones, and each one of them was at least on the level of the 8 Desolate Mountain. Not only that, the 18 Corners pirate sacred land was the only way to the nearby 4 or 5 island zones. Because, apart from the 18 Corners pirate sacred land, the other areas of the 10,000 Abyss Islands zone had harsh weather, and there were countless stormy abysses. The stormy abyss was an abyss formed by a pitch-black storm. It could swallow large ships, and the reason for its formation could not be explained. Even sovereign lords had to be careful when flying near the stormy abysses. If we go around them, we'll have to travel 5 to 10 times the distance. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. The terrain of the 18 Corners pirate sacred land was simply too unique. It was the only way to cross 4 or 5 island zones. Coupled with the complicated terrain and the natural barriers around it, it was no wonder that it became the pirate holy land. No detours! Pass through the 18 Corners pirate sanctuary? Zhao Feng made a decision. If he took a detour, he would waste several times the amount of time. If he wasn't careful, he might even be caught by the death pursuit. Compared to these pirate kings, Zhao Feng was more afraid of the death hunt. Whoosh! The Ghost Corpse ship pierced through the air, its speed rivaling some of the legendary ships. The child demigod and the skeletal division leader waited. The Ghost Corpse resentment aura on the ghost ship was enough to intimidate ordinary pirate ships. In the captain's cabin, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and did not absorb the God Tribulation Lightning's power for the time being. Continuously absorbing the Divine Tribulation Lightning's power would greatly exhaust his soul's energy, which wasn't good for traveling in this environment. Whoosh! Whoosh! Zhao Feng flipped his hand, and a mahogany cup and a bronze cup appeared above his palm. The 2 cups corresponded to the Flaming Dragon Wine and Lightning Cloud Wine. The Flaming Dragon Wine and Lightning Cloud Wine are on the same level as the Illusion God Wine. I haven't finished them yet when I was cultivating in the sacred land. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. When he was cultivating in the sacred land, he purposely didn't finish these 2 wines, including the Illusion God Wine. Firstly, the effect would be reduced if one drank too many of them. Secondly, relying too much on external items and lacking his own comprehension wasn't good for cultivation. And now, after such a long time, Zhao Feng had even tried to comprehend some of the God Tribulation Lightning's laws. His comprehension of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning was over 60%. He believed that these two wines would be more effective for his cultivation of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning. Gulu! Zhao Feng drank a big mouthful of the Flaming Dragon wine and Lightning Cloud wine. His state of existence and body were much stronger than when he was in the Sacred Land. This was due to the water in the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng would drink large amounts of it every day, and it was beneficial to his cultivation and even his soul. Soon, the power of the Flaming Dragon wine and Lightning Cloud wine rampaged through Zhao Feng's body. This was the first time that Zhao Feng had drunk two wines at the same time. The Flaming Dragon wine and Lightning Cloud wine focused on the elements of dragon flame and lightning respectively. Drinking them at the same time would be more effective for his cultivation of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning. An entire day passed. The power of the two wines was mostly absorbed by Zhao Feng, and the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning within his body became more active. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng casually let out a breath, and there was a burning sensation, as if there was wind and lightning around him. My comprehension of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning has reached 70 to 80%. My cultivation isn't far from the peak Great Origin Core realm. Zhao Feng faintly nodded his head. He still had the last portion of the Flaming Dragon wine and Lightning Cloud wine, which he would drink a few months later. The power and control of Zhao Feng's Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning far surpassed the Wind Lightning Emperor's. Furthermore, the laws of God Tribulation Lightning had been merged into the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning, giving it an immortal and undying aura. Of course, if one didn't sense it carefully, it would be very hard to find this aura. However, Zhao Feng believed that this aura of God Tribulation Lightning could give the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning its element. Captain, there's a legendary pirate ship in front of us. It's coming at us aggressively, the Skeletal Division leader suddenly said. Within the limitless ocean, hundreds of li in front of the ghost ship, a dark warship shrouded in a layer of strange mist and wreathed in a murderous aura pressed forward. The aura of this ship was even stronger than the blood-colored ship from before. The ghost ship ahead, I'll give you a chance. Join the Dark Dragon King. A hoarse voice sounded from within the dark warship. Immediately following that, a surge of magnificent power covered the ghost corpse ship. The space in front of him had a strange feeling of being replaced. The ghost ship had fallen into a dark, misty space, where fiendish flames were roaring and roaring. What's going on? The Skeletal Division leader's expression changed slightly as it lost its sense of direction. The expression of the child demigod changed slightly as he murmured, "This is troublesome. It's a domain-level king." Domain-level king. Zhao Feng's heart dropped. The entire dimension around the ghost ship had been sealed by the dark dimension. Domain-level kings were void god realm kings that had comprehended a spatial domain. Void god realm kings of this level were rare even in the true martial sacred land. Void god realm kings were split into 3 levels. Normal kings were usually at the early stage or middle stage void god realm, such as Nengongxing and the blue-robed king. Domain-level kings were usually at the middle stage or late stage void god realm and had comprehended a spatial domain. Their understanding of space surpassed normal kings. Peak-tier kings were at the peak of the void god realm and were only below emperors. They might even be able to fight against emperors. We've entered the opponent's spatial domain, and the magnificent power of heaven and earth is even stronger. It'll be very difficult to break through. The child demigod had a solemn expression. The previous battle was just against normal kings, and they hadn't gained any advantage yet. Juniors, I'll give you half the time it takes to make tea to think. The Dark Dragon King is one of the 3 strongest leaders of the 18 Corners Pirate Sacred Land. It'll be your honor to become the subordinates of the future Pirate Emperor. That hoarse and deep voice was filled with a hint of bewitchment. Within the ghost ship, Zhao Feng and company had entered the spatial domain of a king. Nothing could escape the other senses. Dark Dragon King, the 3 strongest leaders. Pirate Emperor. Thoughts flashed through Zhao Feng's mind. He vaguely realized that his ghost ship had been dragged into the 18 Corners Pirate Holy Lands battle for the title of Pirate Emperor. The Pirate Emperor's inheritance is the inheritance of a peak emperor, but it's still weaker than the demigod Forgotten Garden. Zhao Feng wasn't very interested in this inheritance. Furthermore, only true pirates would be able to obtain the true meaning of the Pirate Emperor's inheritance. But what could he do? The terrain of the 18 Corners Pirate's sacred land was unique, and Zhao Feng didn't want to go around it. On the dark worship far away, an old man in a black robe holding a walking stick in his hand had a red mole between his eyebrows. His body was surrounded by a layer of black misty brilliance. The eyes of the black-robed elder were like those of a venomous snake as he stared at the ghost ship ahead. "Lord Dark Snake King, is this ghost ship really worth it for us to rope in? It won't be of much use in the battle for the title of Pirate Emperor," a green-eyed pirate leader asked respectfully. The black-robed elder was Lord Dark Snake, the right-hand man of the Dark Dragon King. "This ghost corpse's ship is both nimble and strange, and has a special ghost corpse's formation. Its battle power is probably comparable to a normal legendary tier pirate ship." The black-robed elder's eyes lit up. A ghost ship like this, whether it was subduing it or taking it for himself, would only profit and not lose anything. A normal pirate king wouldn't have the right to take this ship. However, Lord Dark Snake was a domain-level king, and his ship's battle power could be ranked in the top 10. In the captain's room, Zhao Feng thought for a moment before looking toward the child demigod. The two of them communicated with each other through the dark heart seed. "Little Kun Yun, are you confident you can break through to the king domain?" Zhao Feng asked. His eye intent surpassed normal kings, and if he used his eye bloodline, he was confident he could break through this domain. However, Zhao Feng couldn't use his eye bloodline easily. "With my Golden Kuin's sacred body and fist intent, I should be able to break through. But even then, I won't be able to beat a domain-level king. Unless Master allows me to merge with the demigod intent," the child demigod said expectantly. If he could merge with the demigod intent, his strength would definitely increase. "It'll be enough if I can break through." Zhao Feng smiled. He controlled the child demigod's growth, so he couldn't let him merge with the demigod intent too early. "Juniors, what do you think?" King Dark Snake's raspy and sinister voice echoed in the dark space filled with fiendish flames. "As long as you can defeat us, the ghost ship will naturally join the Dark Dragon King. As long as you can defeat us, the ghost ship will naturally join the Dark Dragon King," Zhao Feng said unhurriedly. "Defeat? Zhe, if you don't join us, only death awaits you." Lord Dark Snake's voice suddenly went cold. In the next instant, inside the dark space, the raging fiendish flames and sinister energies were eroding the ghost ship under the majestic power of heaven and earth. The power of the spatial domain locked down the ghost ship. The skeletal division leader's bones started to creak, unable to fight back at all. Zhao Feng's breathing also quickened. Sky-destroying golden fist. The child demigod attacked, and his golden fist turned into a beam of light that pierced through the dark dimension and tore open a gap. Wings of wind and lightning. A pair of scarlet wings condensed on Zhao Feng's back. Lightning and lightning crisscrossed on the skeletal wings, making them look extremely lifelike. Chapter 696. That child. The black-robed elder was extremely surprised. The spatial domain created by his king intent was torn open by the 2 or 3-year-old child. The child's physical strength and fist intent seemed to have transcended the world, and the punch landed right on the weak point of his spatial domain. Wings of wind and lightning! A gust of wind brought the child demigod through the gap in the spatial domain. What speed! The black-robed elder didn't expect this. He hadn't even repaired the gap yet. The child demigod and Zhao Feng's teamwork was as fast as lightning. The instant the former opened the gap, the latter unleashed his wings of wind and lightning and broke through the king's domain. "Domain-level king, come out and fight!" Zhao Feng's battle intent rose dramatically, and the scarlet destruction lightning wings on his back started to flap rapidly as if they were on fire. A scarlet whirlwind 100 yards wide appeared and charged toward the dark warship. The child demigod grabbed onto Zhao Feng and felt the destructive scarlet destruction wind lightning turn into a whirlwind that could destroy everything. How can an emperor's inheritance be so strong? The child demigod's heart shook. Compared to when he fought Lei Jin in the true martial sacred land, Zhao Feng's scarlet destruction wind lightning was more than twice as strong. What a powerful aura! Open the array! The black-robed old man's expression was stern as he immediately ordered. He had to admit that the battle power of the youth with the wings of lightning was comparable to normal kings. In fact, the black-robed elder could tell that Zhao Feng's inheritance came from the Wind Lightning Emperor. The Wind Lightning Emperor from 10,000 years ago was the fastest emperor, and his fame could be compared to the first pirate emperors. Stay here! The black-robed elder leapt into the air, and a surge of king intent formed a domain-level magnificent power that covered the youth with the wings of lightning. If it was someone below the king level, he would be able to restrict them with just a thought, and even destroy their soul. Lightning wings wind flash! Zhao Feng's wings of wind and lightning danced rapidly as he streaked through the air. His speed didn't decrease. Instead, it increased. His wings of wind and lightning had the ability to break through the void. Zhao Feng's soul, intent, and state of existence meant that he didn't fear the magnificent power of a king. Break! A golden light glittered around the child demigod's body as he waved his golden fists that were comparable to the intent of kings. Boom! Boom! The nearby magnificent power was broken through by Zhao Feng and the child demigod before it could form a spatial domain. Swish swish! Zhao Feng's speed reached a limit, causing the black-robed old man's expression to change. Facing a domain-level king, he took the initiative to attack. That kid is so strong! The Void Pirates on the Dark Radiance warship were shocked. Thunder wings wind flash! The bolt of lightning pierced through the sea of mist, bringing with it a scarlet whirlwind of destructive flame explosions. That speed made ordinary kings powerless. Devil Snake Sky. King Dark Snake suddenly raised the spinning staff in his hand, and a huge abyss of black fog appeared in the sky above him. It twisted and gave off a powerful suction force. Boom! The abyss of black fog shook, and a snarling demonic snake appeared. It was 100 yards long and seemed to be alive. The black-striped demonic snake was cold and cruel as it coiled towards Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's Thunderwings wind flash slowed down as soon as it arrived. The abyss of black fog took over a large part of heaven and earth, and it was continuing to expand. Golden Emperor's Fist. The child demigod punched out and created a hole in the demonic snake's head. However, the demonic snake was in between the physical world and True Yuan, so it didn't have any weak points. Its enormous body swept toward Zhao Feng and the child demigod. Zhao Feng wasn't scared at all. Whoosh! Boom! The scarlet whirlwind created by the wings of wind and lightning clashed with the demonic snake. In an instant, the sound of explosions rang out incessantly. An entire area was annihilated by the violent and destructive scarlet wind and lightning, and it burned and exploded. Thunder rumbled and wind swept, and it was deafening. The dark-striped devil serpent was devoured and torn to pieces. Domain-level kings are only SOSO. The wings of wind and lightning behind Zhao Feng's back were 10 to 20 yards long, and they fluttered at high speed like a demon. With him as the center, everything within dozens of miles was affected by the terrifying power of the scarlet destruction wind lightning. Even the Dark Radiance warship's guardian formation flickered. The pirates on the ship held their breaths as their expressions changed dramatically. Jaja. King Dark Snake laughed as he spun the staff in his hand. When the abyss in the air didn't dissipate under the force of the scarlet destruction whirlwind. Instead, it started to expand. Whoosh! Whoosh! From the depths of the abyss, another 3 giant demonic snakes came out and surrounded Zhao Feng from different directions. 3. Zhao Feng felt a chill run down his spine. The 3 demonic snakes had sealed off his path of retreat. The abyss in the air was the manifestation of King Dark Snake's domain-level power, and it greatly restricted Zhao Feng's speed. Boom! Zhao Feng and the child demigod were hit by a demonic snake, and they were pushed back and separated. Domain-level kings aren't something you can guess. Coldness flashed through King Dark Snake's eyes as he waved the staff in his hand, and the three demonic snakes summoned their magnificent power to seal off Zhao Feng and the child demigod. Bam! Bam! Zhao Feng and the child demigod's figures split apart and flew back. Among them, the child demigod's body glowed with a golden light, and he wasn't injured at all. His demigod bloodline and Golden Kun's sacred body were profound and mysterious. A ripple of water surrounded Zhao Feng's body, and a layer of purple scales appeared on his body, making it seem like he was wearing a suit of armor. The blood within his body shook, but with his water bloodline and purple-scaled grass, his injuries weren't very obvious. These two brats. Solemnness finally appeared on King Dark Snake's face. Zhao Feng and the child demigod's physical defense was monstrous, and he couldn't see through them. Sky-destroying golden fist! The child demigod suddenly turned into a beam of golden light that shot toward the abyss above his head. He punched out, and a beam of golden light pierced into the abyss. Preposterous! King Dark Snake roared in anger. The child demigod's body was just too small. However, the body of the child demigod contained a terrifying golden body, and his fist intent was extraordinary. Every time he attacked, he would hit the vitals. He couldn't help but suspect if this child was a reincarnation of an emperor, or if he had regained his youth. One boom! The abyss started to shake, and a crack appeared in the middle. The demigod Kun Yun's body was tiny, but he was able to circle around the three demonic snakes. Pun! Pun! Boom! His figure swayed, his footwork was profound, the magnificent golden fist light was like a mountain pillar, overbearing and disdainful. It had a kind of power that could crush everything in the world. Don't even think about it! King Dark Snake snickered coldly as he waved his staff and locked down the child demigod with his magnificent power. Finally, the child demigod's movements slowed down, and he was forced into a passive state. However, right at this moment, lightning wings flying technique! An illusory streak of lightning wings flapped at high speed, breaking through the shackles of space. In a flash, it disappeared from the domain power of the dark fog abyss. Not good. King Dark Snake's expression changed dramatically. Most of his attention was on the child demigod, and he didn't pay attention to Zhao Feng. Lightning wings flying technique. Whoosh, whoosh! A pair of scarlet annihilation wings that were 20 meters long flew in front of the Dark Snake King. Close combat. A destructive scarlet palm light struck the Dark Serpent King like a whirlwind of fire and lightning. It's not that simple! King Dark Snake snickered lightly as he stabbed the staff in his hand into the ground, and a layer of black mist formed a barrier that protected him. Poof! Boom! Zhao Feng's palm was like a scarlet whirlwind that charged into the dark circle. The dark ring of light around King Dark Snake's body shook, but it wasn't instantly torn to shreds as expected. Zhao Feng felt as if his palm had fallen into another dimension, like a rock sinking into the ocean. Spatial domain. His expression changed dramatically as he reacted. That palm just now could kill a king, or at the very least severely injure one. However, King Dark Snake was a domain-level king, and he immediately activated his defenses. This way, Zhao Feng's attack was blocked by his spatial domain. Bam! King Dark Snake harumphed as he was sent flying dozens of yards by Zhao Feng's punch. Although the damage he took was blocked by the spatial domain, the power of Zhao Feng's Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning had reached an incredible level. The power of the Scarlet Destruction Wind Lightning that Zhao Feng had comprehended 70% was close to the Wind Lightning Emperor's Golden Wind Lightning. Even if it was a city, it could be annihilated into ashes. Furthermore, the spatial domain of a king hadn't truly materialized yet. Junior, I didn't expect you to have comprehended the Wind Lightning inheritance to such a level. If you join the Dark Dragon King, you might have a chance to live. King Dark Snake's expression was grim. The attack just now had only injured him lightly. However, the scarlet destruction wind lightning burned fiercely, and an aura of destruction wreaked havoc in his body. Wind lightning wing slash! Zhao Feng used his own method to answer him, leaving behind an afterimage. Shwa! Shwa! In the void, the sharp shadow of a pair of lightning wings flashed and disappeared. Whoosh! The Dark Snake King didn't have the strength to dodge and was swept away by the scarlet lightning wings. The wind lightning wing slash was one of the techniques of the wings of wind and lightning. See! King Dark Snake screamed as a bloody gash was left on his body that extended from his head to his stomach. If it wasn't for the protection of his spatial domain, the wind lightning wing slash would have sliced off at least half of his body. However, even then, King Raven Snake was also heavily injured. Golden Emperor's Fist! The child demigod turned into a streak of golden light and charged toward King Dark Snake from the other side. Retreat! King Dark Snake's expression changed drastically. He waved the staff in his hand, and a thick layer of dark fog enveloped the surrounding 50 kilometers, blotting out the sun. Zhao Feng and the child demigod's senses were blocked by the mist. A few breaths later, King Dark Snake appeared on the dark battleship 100 miles away with a pale face. It's hard to kill a domain-level king even if we team up. The child demigod sighed. That's not necessarily true. Zhao Feng didn't think much of it, and a dark silver bow appeared in his hand. There were mysterious carvings on it, and the bowstring glittered with a cold golden light.